Perfection. A scorched outpost in the middle of nowhere.
Hold up! That's Edgar Deans. Jeez. You guys better get the hell out of here! There's a killer on the loose!
No Richter scale can measure it.
They're coming!
They're under the ground!
It's up to Val and Earl to save the world.
That's one big mother.
Tremors.
Hey, there we go. All right.
I wasn't expecting it to like cut out right after Tremors like that. You know, coming to theaters near you very soon.
No.
Because that was actually that looked like a legit trailer. That had like the film grain and everything. It looked cool.
Oh well, that was the legit trailer. There's no modern
okay.
trailer. There's no like modern renditions. No one has cut it up recently. So yes, this is just a straight up original trailer that I had to cut up. So yeah, it was cool.
This movie's a bit of a time capsule. So you know.
Yeah, Tremors is actually a pretty cool movie, man. I think it shows Kevin Bacon's versatility as an actor, which is nice. Great screenwriting too. But of course, we'll get into it. First of all, just want to say, how are you doing, man?
Feeling good, man. It's officially the first show of this year. We're supposed to do this a little earlier, but obviously you're on your what, 6? You have like 6 or 7 lives left at this point.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. For those who were unaware, Tur was basically chemically killed, medically killed
twice in 1 week. So yeah, that was a trip. So yeah, but I'm
he's
back
okay now,
health.
and that's what matters. And yes, the Ravens. I'm wearing the shirt they're playing later today, so I decided to go with this shirt rather than one of my, right here. It's but yeah. Oh, one thing, because it's the new year, new candy bar. I've gone with the Twix this year. You know, it's the only candy with the cookie crunch. So
nice.
Put that up here. You know,
now you can't say that you're not you when you're hungry.
Yeah. But yeah, so let's get some guests in. But first, I guess let's say hi to the chat.
Hi, chat.
It's been a while, guys. How's everybody doing out there? We have a
Daniel B is here
already.
Oh, Melvin. Hey, Melvin. How you doing? Rachel Percy Art. Hey, Rachel Percy. How you doing? James is here. Hey, James. Semantic Dragon. Where you at, Dark? Well, Dark is here. Boom.
I'm in my office. We do have a super chat already, so I'm just going to do that real quick before I make the intros.
Yep.
From Blue Collar Loser, who was supposed to be on this stream, but because we moved the times and everything, I'll get him on in the future. But for $1.99 in chat, since I'm stuck at work, love this movie. Yeah, unfortunately, couldn't have him on, but we'll have him on again soon. Thank you, buddy.
Cheers, Chris, man. And we have Neo Hippie in the chat who says, person turquoise waving, which is a cool emoji.
Yeah. But yeah, let's get the guests in. The first guy that I'm bringing on, he's a regular around here. I think he's still holds the record for the most times on the channel, and he was pretty much the first one that I thought of when I scheduled this, because he's talked about this movie multiple times. I think he's the only person in history who's ever watched all of the sequels too, and that's Stupenzo.
They say there's nothing new under the sun, but underground. Tremors. Oh, this is one of my favorite movies, man. I'm so glad to be here. I remember my dad and my mom like renting this movie. This movie always got like really big, following through video cassette rentals. But yeah, I remember my dad like loving this movie, which was a sign of quality when my dad liked one of these movies, it was great. But yeah, how you guys doing?
Pretty good, man.
Yeah, I'm alive, so I can't complain, honestly. So, yeah.
Currently in the throes of Winter Storm Enzo over here in Texas. It's berating us. It's cold. It's gonna get colder. Maybe my power will go off in the middle of this. Who knows? Texas, the power grid, it's finicky. It's fickle.
If it goes off, then just when it comes back, just let us know. What's in. Next guest making his return. I don't really, have too much to say about this guy. I've streamed with him probably more than anybody else at this point, and I love him. He's people thought that recently we had a rift, but that was completely untrue. And just to prove that point, I brought back the movie cynic.
Hey, I was man.
Are you feeling cynical.
blocked as you came up. There was like a big thing in front of you.
Hilarious.
No, dude.
I'm really glad to have you, man, because everyone thought we were like feuding and shit recently. They're like, "Oh, you guys arguing?" I was like, "No, we're just we're fine."
We still text. It's you know, like we're still in contact. It's all good. I was really excited that TikTok was banned and now it's back. Apparently, I just want
What already?
Yeah, dude. Like they're already in process of bringing it back. I was excited that all these brain rot content creators were going to be employed.
Honestly, it's probably for the best because it was going to get all just ported over to YouTube. YouTube Shorts was about to blow up, and it apparently won't now.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks for having me, man. I'm glad to be here. Glad to be chatting with everybody.
And I remember talking to you about this, and you were like, "Oh, I love Tremors," and
great film.
Yeah, dude, it's a pleasure having you on. I haven't streamed with you in a while, so it's great to have you back on, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Stupenzo, good to see you, man.
You too, man.
Stupenzo's like, "It's so cold here. I'm gonna put on this hat."
Put gloves on.
Melvin wants a refund, Cynic. He says that it's not the blue hair.
I know. Well, my girlfriend and I are discussing if I should dye it again. I kind of want to, but the blue
you haven't
gets
had
all
blue
over
hair
the
in
place.
like over a year, though.
I
You
know.
don't need
I
to
know.
dye it. Oh,
Well,
dye it. Dye your hair. I thought you were thinking, I was like, you don't need to go
No, I don't need to go on a diet.
Dude, why don't you just buy like a horrendous blue wig and then just wear that?
That would be nice.
Yeah. Oh, get one of the ones for like that, like Thing 1 and Thing 2 from fucking Cat in the Hat, like one of the like off the. It'll be sticking off the camera.
Yeah.
I say shave it. If you can pull off a bald head, you can pull off any hairstyle.
I don't think I can pull that off. God,
You need a specific head shape for to pull off bald. Really,
Yeah.
like it doesn't work with every head shape.
shaped head. I can't pull that shit.
I have a very flat head top, so like for me, it would just look like I'd be able to like balance a book on it all the
Dude,
time.
I had my dreadlocks, but I'm basically bald now. So that I don't know. I can rock a bald cut. It's pretty cool. Well, I mean, yeah, I'm mixed, so I kind of look like a lesser jacked Dwayne Johnson, pretty much. So yeah,
He was not Jack once upon a time when he was trying to be cool in Hollywood, and then he went full on rock.
yeah. Imagine a tooth fairy Dwayne Johnson. That's what I look like. There you go.
That's well, damn.
You look like
Terry,
Dwayne Johnson's.
probably-
What are you talking about?
Dude, I hit the gym for 3 hours today on no sleep, so I'm pretty tired as fuck right now.
Standing around leering at girls doesn't count as hitting the gym.
That's hitting on the gym. That's hitting on the gym. We do have one additional member. He was actually lucked out because originally I wasn't going to be able to get him into this stream. I met this guy. He was when I was doing my gaming streams, I was playing Resident Evil, and he decided to pop in and make fun of me. So, you know, as one does when someone just makes fun of you on stream, is you invite them to one. And so that's what I did. Is Mad Cat Mako Volume 2? Apparently, I didn't realize that there was a Volume 1. But
hello there.
How you doing?
Or Mako?
Is it Mako or Mako? I don't. Okay.
Mako.
So,
Yeah.
Okay. Mako. Sorry, I've only ever read it. I never actually asked you how to pronounce it. So it's Mako. Sorry.
Well, Volume 2, which is straight from rebooting myself after I got like hacked into Discord, had to like start anew. And
Okay.
yeah, and I'm looking to get back onto YouTube at some point, but you know, I come from nothing. I'm nobody. I come from nowhere, but I am somebody. I'm here to watch a great movie for you guys.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, and I noticed that there's a Melvin in the chat. There's also going to be a Melvin in the movie, so Melvin's going to be very important. And,
Melvin do.
And for all
it was funny
movies,
while I was watching it. That's all I could think of every time they said Melvin. I was like, oh. Literally every time he said it, they said Melvin. I expected him to turn around and be like, "Once upon a time in Hollywood is ass." By the way,
yeah,
foreshadowing.
And yeah, for all the movie cynics, including yourself, cynic, this is a great movie. I'm going to be comparing this to another movie that we had recently. It's called A Quiet Place. So there's going to be some major compare and contrast because difference is Tremors is a great movie still to this day. A Quiet Place, not so much. And I'll be happy to break down why it sucks.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I think the third one is arguably the best. And that's because it addresses a lot of the problems that the first one has. Second one is just boring as hell.
I thought
for
you were
the
going to
most
say
part.
the third Tremors is the best. I was like, the third Tremors
No,
is
no,
the
no,
worst.
no.
No, the third Tremors is a different kind of bad, but you can still watch it. You can still enjoy
Yeah,
it.
ass
Yo.
blasters get introduced to the
Yeah.
the
No.
lore.
Oh,
We'll,
God,
we'll,
I
we'll
watched
get
that
into
You
one.
said that in mine and your conversation, and I was like, "What the fuck is he even talking about? Ass blasters?"
The
I was
ass
like,
Yeah,
blasters.
that's an
Yeah.
actual thing.
Well, we
Full
don't need to talk
disclosure.
about it.
Yeah, sorry. Full backstory to my exposure to Tremors. Funny story. Growing up, I borrowed 2 tapes from a family that my family was close with. The History of Trunks and Tremors. I never gave those tapes back because I rewatched both of them. But I never had any complaints.
I remember that History of Trunks one. I
Uh,
remember when that
yeah.
came out. That was like a big deal because they started releasing the like DBZ. Like if you got lucky, there was tapes that were a few episodes ahead of what they were on TV. So it was always
Yeah,
fun.
a huge DBZ fan I am. I'm very flimsy of my knowledge of how much of those tapes were distributed, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's a very weird history that could probably be a story on its own. But I've watched Tremors and when I was a kid, and I was very scared to step onto the sand in my
The
playground.
ground.
Yeah,
It's like I'm never moving to the desert is what was his immediate
Yeah.
thought.
It's like you
Yeah.
play. I lived in the desert, so it was awesome watching as a kid. But you play the ground is lava. We'd play Tremors. Don't touch the ground. Whatever. Yeah, this movie. It's like it's a perfect movie. When I say perfect, I mean there's like really good movies like whatever Citizen Kane and all that shit. But perfect like RoboCop, Return of the Living Dead, Tremors. These are movies that have no fat. Every line is great. All the characters are
Structurally
great, but
perfect.
it's just like a Nintendo game. Like maybe not the best movie or video game technically, but it's got this replayability factor where it just never gets old. I watched it again with mom, and dude, it's still like just like watching it for the second, third time. It's amazing.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we kind of jumped right into the everyone's history of it, so I'm just gonna I'm just for the sake of the structure of the stream, I'm just gonna say that's where we're at right now. But yeah, so I guess Madcap and Stupenza already went. How about you, Cynic?
So this was the movie I would watch when I'd stay home from school, which was all the time. I'd fake sick and just stay home. And it was always on TNT. And I'd watch this shit every single day. Like, I swear to God, it was on TV every day. I had this movie memorized when I was like 8 years old. I loved this.
Yeah.
And then as I got older, I actually learned to appreciate it like all you guys did. As I'm like, wow, this is actually a really well-structured film. Like you were saying, Stupenzo, it's not Citizen Kane or The Godfather or something, but it's in that ballpark of just really well-made movies. The script makes sense. Everything's laid out really well, and it's wildly entertaining still to this day. It really holds up.
Yeah. I have a couple of issues with it, but the only issues stem from like so these are issues that are common in most monster movies anyways, so I don't really hold it against the film, but we'll see the inconsistencies of the graboids themselves, and that's just my only issue. It's just their inconsistency sometimes. That's pretty much it. But I can still overlook it because I do think that it's a really, really, really well structured film. I mean, genuinely, from the first 2 minutes, you can tell that there was a lot of love and care put into it from the first 2 minutes. So yeah, I guess. So yeah, it's Sans Jaws.
I actually misread that at first and thought I was going to have to tell somebody to remove that comment.
Well, the original title of the oh my god, that's the original title of the movie was Land Sharks, I think.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
Land Sharks.
I agree with Stupenzo though. So I like this movie. I know I don't like it as much as everybody else on the panel. I think it's fun. I think it's definitely structurally well. Anytime you can get a movie at essentially that 90-minute mark, get a whole story, an entire narrative into it, and it flow properly, that's just good, efficient writing. There's really not any. I can't think of a single moment that's really wasted. Might be a couple of times where it gets slightly repetitive toward the middle, but it doesn't make it doesn't like slow it down at all. And even one of my favorite things in films or anything, whether it be a comic, a book, a TV show, is when some small detail comes back later, and that happens quite a few times, or callbacks, just small things that reoccur. Some people might call it continuity porn, as a term a lot of people use with that, where it's something happens a lot of times and it's not really mentioned. It just happens, and that happens a lot throughout this, and I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, man. I think that there's a ton of great stuff in Tremors that, of course, we're going to break down. I guess my first experience with this movie, I watched it on a channel called Studio Universal, and that channel is one of the channels that basically made me, because they used to play old stuff. So old stuff, I would say, let's say stuff from the 70s all the way till very early 2000s, maximum, let's say 2005, 2006. So I'd watch that channel almost every single day growing up, and Tremors was something that they played all the time, and so I just loved it. And yeah, I like Kevin Bacon as an actor. I really think that, as I said before, I think that Tremors is also here to show him that, yeah, he's versatile. I don't think that we appreciate Kevin Bacon enough as an actor, which is weird. But yeah.
I think Kevin Bacon's great. I think Fred Ward doesn't get enough credit for this movie. I mean, everyone loves Burt Gummer, everyone loves Reba, everyone loves Kevin Bacon, but dude, Fred Ward, he's become my favorite in my elderly age.
He's like the straight man of everyone else is being ridiculous and he's being logical the entire time. So it's
like as a kid watching it, you like Kevin Bacon. As a grumpy old man, you're all in Burt shoes, you know.
Yeah, you think more of Bert, but
it also solidifies Universal as like this great like monster movie studio, you know, from King Kong to the Universal Hollywood Dracula Wolfman, and then you got
Tremors,
this one, then Jurassic Park right after this, you know. So yeah, Universal, man, stick to your strengths.
Yeah, I guess the latest monster movie we've gotten was fucking Wolfman. That was horrendous. Piss water, dude.
The Inbred Man, you mean?
I love a good shitty movie, you know. And I was like halfway through, I was like, it's not that bad. And then like by the time it was over, I was like, yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty terrible.
It was terrible, man.
They should call it the Inbred Man because it does not resemble a wolf at all.
Well, it turns you into it doesn't turn you into a werewolf. It turns you into like a Appalachian moonshiner, you know, like that's what you do.
Yeah. So are we now like suddenly not embracing the concept of werewolves now?
I love werewolves.
Yeah, dude, I love werewolves, but I just think that this one, it's like, what are you doing? Like, it's an infection. It's not even werewolves. It's like, and even the makeup. You know, no hate to the makeup artist, but dude, lay 1L. I don't know what type of design you try to do. It's horrendous.
I think we should hate the concept artist.
Yeah,
the concept artist gets all the hate.
You know what's fun? You know what's funny though? I was watching Ginger Snaps for the first time, and it does blend in a concept of an infection with this werewolf curse in that movie.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, it's a damn good movie. I love Ginger Snaps.
Yeah, Ginger Snaps is great, dude. I fucking love Ginger Snaps.
Yeah.
Dracula used to turn into a wolf. Hey, that's why I say watch Van Helsing. Probably the best depiction of Dracula that we have. You know?
Yeah, werewolves, man. They're the original body horror, besides cancer, of course. But yeah.
Well, yeah, legitimate diseases are, of course, body horror, but
right.
All right, so I guess did everyone get their 2 cents in for the first time they saw the movie? Yep.
Yeah, I think we did.
Oh yeah.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, Tremors. Can you see my mouse or no?
Yep.
A little bit, yeah. It's fine. It's not a big deal. I actually like that because then you can circle things. Well, we found that out
I do it all the
week.
time.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you see anything now that's different?
It's fine. You're good.
All right, cool.
Yeah, it moved to the Tremors logo.
No. I was just checking because I have my my file laid over, so it's all right as long as you don't see that. So, ladies and gentlemen, Universal. Shout out to Universal, but fuck you, Universal, also because you're horrendous with copyright. So, yep.
Oh yeah, they're one of the worst. I'm not sure if it's them or Netflix is actually probably the worst. They're really bad.
Yeah, Netflix and Universal are horrendous.
Universal's been dicks to me over stupid movies too. But you know what? Also, Universal's terrible at marketing. This movie was poorly marketed, released in January. Oh no, yeah, it happened to be released 25 or 35 years ago to the date today.
Oh yes, yeah, we talked about that. It was literally
scheduled this.
Yeah, it was 35 years ago to the day. Yeah, and it just happened to work out that way. It's amazing.
Wow. Because Uninspired fucking died. It was like, yeah, man, we can celebrate it on the anniversary. We're cool.
Yeah, thanks for almost dying, Uninspired. Good job.
It's a pleasure.
Oh my gosh.
And so we start the movie. Of course, your opening shot is probably one of your most important shots. Very relevant in the end with the stampede stuff and the cows. I like the way it ties back. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep in mind of this location.
So you were saying matte painting. Now that you say it, I actually realize that it is.
Well, yeah, in the
This is
mountains
like
you can
in
see
camera. You know, this is just literally just put a little matte painting on the bottom of the frame of the camera, and there you go. There's your shot.
or the cliffs, I should say, not the mountains, because that's technically those are
Well,
cliffs.
no, I think the mountains at the back too. Yeah, it's matte.
That might be as well, but I was really talking more about. I meant to say the cliffs. That's really what I was.
All right. So we meet Valentine and Earl, and of course they're right next to Pride Rock. And yeah, Valentine and Earl, they're I fucking love these guys, man.
What a duo.
Some of the best chemistry you'll see on screen between
Yeah.
Kevin Bacon and Fred Ward. So well, they complement each other so well, and just in these 2 minutes, they give you so much about these characters. And
waking him up with a stampede, fake stampede. Also, you know, he's got the lighter. Kevin Bacon's got all these empty packs of cigarettes. You know, he finds one pack of cigarette. I don't know what it is with cigarette smokers and their inability to throw away empty packs of cigarettes. Is that
it's so weird? Yeah, it is a common thing. I don't really smoke that much, but my dad, he smokes, and sometimes he forgets to throw it away. I don't know why.
It was
so
a much
trope.
simpler-
You want a cigarette, you got to check all these empty packs first. It's like a ritual.
Hey, mind you, it was a much simpler time for smokers.
True.
Oh,
true,
dude, this
true.
movie's guns, beer, and cigarettes. Like nonstop.
Yeah.
Awesome.
This is America the movie. That's if you take out the actual graboids, this would just be a portrait of America, middle America, I should say.
It's also really relevant today because in the 90s and today we're talking about the town of perfection is like a metaphor for America, where it's like economically economically uncertain future, basically. We're like, we don't know where, like this town is poor, it's run down. And yeah, the worms, metaphorically, man, they represent communism or urbanization or corporate greed, whatever.
I mean,
probably.
Sure. My whole thing with perfection is, how would it even at this point have been alive? I mean, I think they say it's 14 people live in this town. Like, how would the store
you can count all the 14 people too.
Yeah, like how would the store even stay in business?
Well,
you know,
go ahead.
It's kind of funny though that later on in the movie they do establish that they do have some connection to some city beyond the mountains is where they like get their reach. But yeah, it's very odd. Like you have like the small town where 14 people live, and I quite honestly would say this would be a pretty boring place to live in. But in terms of in terms of it's like how it gets by, yeah, they do reference that they got some networking to some other.
Yeah, they have outside help, so to say, because it'd be required. There's no way you could sustain on 14 people. None of the businesses could possibly stay. There's no amount of income from those 14 people that could sustain a store.
It's like the people that are here when you live out in the middle of nowhere, you know, it's by choice. And especially nowadays with internet and working from home, like there are people who just don't want to be around people. And I think one of the big things about this movie is, you know, like the common thing that the sequels all get wrong is it's not about the graboids, you know, just like how Rocky's not about boxing. Tremors is not about killer monsters. It's about community. It's about being neighborly and knowing your neighbors. Like these neighbors, like they know everything about their neighbors. They know their goods, the bads, their strengths, their weaknesses. And all these characters are so fully developed, even though they're all just, you know, worm food basically for a monster movie. And it's all brought to life with these great character actors. You know, and that's the thing, though. How does a community like this survive? By banding together and helping each other out. And driving 3 hours outside of town every once in a while.
Or maybe by forcing Valentine and Earl to do all the dirty work in the town. So fuck it.
For me, this kind of living is so alien to me because I've always lived in densely populated multi-town, multi-city areas my whole life. So this kind of stuff is just, it blows my mind that there's people who live like, because I know it's not, I mean, maybe not 14 people in a town, But you're talking towns that have like a couple hundred people. Like this,
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
was
this
the
kind of
town I
stuff.
grew up in. I grew
Yeah.
up not
Honestly,
quite
right
this
now.
bad, but it was similar to this, like where it's all
14 is a
outside stuff.
bit of an exaggeration. I think. I don't
Yeah.
think you can
Well,
sustain with 14
dude,
people, but
here's the thing, man. Like, yeah, there's just your small towns which thrive on a highway. They've got a couple gas stations and a Walmart, maybe. But
yeah.
what's even crazier is when you're driving across Texas, you'll see tons of those little towns. But what's even nuts is like in the middle of nowhere, like out of here, you'll see like a house, just totally isolated, like hour and on each side of it from the highway. Like, there are people that live out like this. They collect
and that person owns all that property. That's the crazy part.
Yeah.
They're just like they bought it. Their great grandfather bought it for like 6 cents on the acre or some shit. It's like
But honestly, with the advent of the internet, like I could totally live out here in somewhere else like this.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
really.
for sure.
I'm not saying I couldn't, because honestly, for the most part, I don't really interact with people too much anymore because I don't have like when I do work, it's mostly in like emptied houses and stuff. But it's still very foreign to me that you go to the store and there's like 2 people there and it's the same 2 people all the time, and But
yeah.
Oh, I do go back one slide. Go back to that slide real quick. One of my
Who's
favorite
the date
things about
in
this
town is the real question.
Yeah, there's like one woman, and she has. There's 2 women. One is married, and the other one just has a kid who's on a pogo stick 95% of the time.
Yeah.
Well, there it is. You're foreshadowing. It's on the kid is on the pogo stick. You know what the woman does? She's on the she's also on a different pogo
Town
stick
bicycle.
every night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Going around.
I love this, and I don't know if it was done on purpose or Kevin Bacon's just really terrible with a hammer because he misses that whatever that like it's like a nail. It's like one of those those like big staple nails. He misses it like 5 or 6 times before he finally hits it. And
I think it was on purpose, but even if it isn't, it works it shows like the type of handiwork they do. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to get the top of the line renovations with Bert and Val. It's gonna get done, but it's not going to be smooth on the edges and pretty.
They're gonna do the best that they can.
What is it? Bert looks at him while like he almost in disbelief that he missed like 6 times. It's just like how'd you screw that up?
That could leave credit to the fact that it was real, maybe, and Bert and Fred Ward, the actor.
Fred Ward was like, what the fuck? Yeah.
Want me to show you how to do it, boy?
Now we meet Rhonda LeBeck. Rhonda's pretty cool, man. I like Rhonda. What do you guys think of her character?
It's great.
Oh, she's great. I mean, she's there to be like the she's trying to bring the science to it all to the audience, trying to explain like what's going on and these. Well, she doesn't really have all the answers, which comes into play later on. But yeah, she's a cool character. Well, off tangent, do you guys know about the real story behind her actress, Finn Carter?
Yeah,
I know she wasn't in a lot. I think she was arrested at one point.
Yeah, she got into some major gambling debts or gambling troubles, and then she got in prison for it. And
is that why she wasn't in the making of featurette? Okay, that explains that.
And that's why if you see her now, she is now.
Well,
this is pretty much a far cry.
I found her way more attractive.
Yeah, because I looked her up because I was like, what else has she been in? And she was only in like 3 or 4 movies besides this. And the first picture that popped up, it wasn't a mugshot, but it might as well have been. It was her with like short hair, like clearly been working out. And I was like, it immediately made me go. I immediately typed her name and arrested after that. Like it was that obvious that that's what it was. And yeah, it was the magic.
Yeah, not pretty.
Is awesome. on the money.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, yeah. So
what's cool is like.
No, go ahead, Spencer. Go ahead.
I was saying, Kevin Bacon, like the idea that the town's so small, like they know there's a new seismologist showing up to do readings,
and that she's a woman.
I love how they pull over, and the first thing she does is just get up and walk right up to him. Hello, I'm Rhonda Bigsby or whatever. What's your name? You must be Bert and Val. Heard all about you.
Bert and Ernie.
Just really shows you like Bert and Ernie.
Yeah, of course. Val he has these pictures of. Is it like the same girl? Is this how?
Yeah, I think it's his ex-girlfriend,
Yeah.
or at least ex-fling. That's the way that they kind of sell it off because Bert knows the name And like, he thinks he knows the name. He says the wrong name and he gets corrected. But yeah, so it's funny because I love how toward the end, I mean, obviously I'm jumping way ahead, but this comes into play again. It's one of those little details I was talking about. They don't just forget about this.
Yep. And of course, the City of Perfection, established in 1902, population 14, elevation 2,135. I'm guessing feet.
Yes,
we would never. If that was meters, they'd all be severely lightheaded all the time.
Yeah.
And there it is. That's the town. It's a nice set that they built. Actually, nothing is there anymore if you go and visit it today. So sadly,
these were all temporary structures. You could tell just by looking at them. They're
they were built to basically be broken down in a specific way. Yeah, for the movie.
Some of the sheds were literally purchased like in the nearby area for like $25, like a dilapidated shed on the side of the road. But like, I'll pay you $25 for it, and they just literally like took it apart, moved it, put it back together. You know, it's crazy.
That was the name, Tammy Lynn Baxter. Yeah, that was.
Does anyone know the budget of this movie?
I can look it up.
Not a
Give me
lot.
second.
Yeah, definitely not a lot.
Low budget. One of the other cool effect that I saw done practically was they dug a big trench and had like a big propane tank or a big barrel, and they pulled it underground, and that's how you get the cool little worm underground effect.
Anyone want to take a guess what the budget was?
So this was 1990.
Yeah, it was 1990. So in $1990, you have to
16 million.
Nope,
8 million.
Lower.
No.
This sounds like a lot, man.
Lower
I'd say
than
like
8 million.
6 million, probably.
Lower than 8 million. Well, it doesn't have an exact number. It says between 6.4 and 10. I was going to go with the low number, as like the base. It brought in just shy of $17 million. So like it wasn't obviously commercially successful if it based on the 10 million. If they went with
they were pissed. Universal was pissed. They were like, you effed up, boys. And everybody involved was like, we made a good movie. I don't understand.
Yeah, they made a good movie. You guys just suck at marketing it. You guys had
in
little
fact,
faith.
when you watch the trailer that we saw earlier with Don LaFontaine talking, it's played as like straight horror when in fact, like this is just like American Werewolf in London. Like it does the comedy and the drama, like the suspense back and forth so well. You've got tension, release, you know?
It's about 90% comedy, 10% horror elements. There's not. It's almost to classify this as a horror movie is a misnomer because it's even the scary parts. Yes, there's some tension to it, but they don't really rely on crazy jump scares, even though they could. Based on
I just call Tremors a creature feature, man. That's
a
pretty
monster
much what
movie.
Yeah, it's a creature
way of
monster
doing
movie.
It's
really
got
not
more of a. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I wouldn't classify it as a horror movie, even though technically on there, when it's classified as a horror comedy.
Yeah, it's got like a 50s monster movie, sci-fi monster movie, sci-fi kind of but also with this like, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones kind of tone, it's
Speaking of Indiana Jones, I wanted to ask you guys, what is the official rating for this? The age rating? I mean, is it like rated R,
PG-13?
Yeah, I would assume PG-13. They don't really do anything. They don't do anything crazy. There's not a lot of blood or anything, unless you count the graboid blood.
Kevin Bacon screaming "fuck yeah!" That was like one of the few like I remember being like, "This movie's not rated R. Why are you saying the F word?"
Yeah, even son of a bitch.
Hey, you could get away with just one F-bomb on a PG.
Right.
Yeah.
Melvin.
Back to the. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was about to say Melvin, you're on screen. So hey.
I was gonna say, back to the sets. One of the things that I love the simplicity of the sets. So most of the movie either takes place in this general store or out in the middle of the desert. There's very little deviance from those two settings, and it never gets boring. Mostly, I think with the specifically with the general store, they change the angle of the camera every single time you're in it, so it almost makes it look like a new set. But it's not. They never show the same angle twice, or at least not two times particularly close to each other.
That's true.
Yeah. Also, the thing is, like, the desert, it's very vast. It's why shooting it in this wide aspect ratio format works. When they capture that vastness, it really, especially with the monster scenes, like it's like, you're out on the ocean basically. It's just sprawled out. There's no shelter anywhere. You're not going to outrun the worms. It really adds to the horror, but also. this earthy color palette they got. It's all
A lot
so
of greens
meticulous.
and brown.
Yeah, a lot of browns,
lot
and
of brown.
beiges and grays, and it's
You
great.
can, yeah, but even some greens. Like sometimes certain angles you get that kind of green hue as well, which
Yeah, that's why the
Um,
Tremors look so great because they're very like normal kind of earthy colors like you would see, but then their mouth opens and it's that bright saturated
Orange.
red.
Yeah.
It's freaky, dude.
So
Yeah.
now we meet Bert and Heather Grummer, who of course are fantastic, and Walter Chang, who is probably the richest dude among all of them, I guess. And no, well, I say maybe second richest after Bert, because Bert has a self-sustaining house, he has a big car,
Yeah,
he has all
Bert's
the
got money.
guns too. Yeah, Bert's probably rich.
And we got acquainted with Melvin just for a bit, who is pretty much like the town like bratty kid.
The town idiot.
Which begs the question, like, is anyone watching out for this kid? Like,
No.
I always wonder, like, where's his parents? Who's
This is a
watching out
very
for this kid?
1990. He's a latchkey kid, especially in a town of 14 people. That would
Yeah,
make sense.
his
what kind of trouble is he really going to get into? Everybody knows who he is and where he lives. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's also the thing. Like, why would a kid act out like this? I'm just now thinking of this because he's the only 12-year-old in like 7-hour drive. Like he's got friends. The only one his age is that little girl who's on a pogo stick. That's like a little child to him.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
true.
Mr. Chang. It's right. Chang is his name, right? That's
Walter Chang.
Walter
Yeah.
Chang. Yeah, he part of the way he sustains this the economy of this store is the amount of Jergens lotion he sells to that kid.
Dude, I mean, Walter Chang is a businessman. I respect the hustle. I respect the grind, especially with what he does with the tentacle later on. It's like, yep.
I love
it.
the cash register. When I was younger, I worked in when I was in high school, I worked in a bakery and / deli, and they had cash registers like this. I've always had a reverence for these kind of old school, mechanized, like non-digital cash registers. I just love them.
Yeah. Well, Chang, he's he's like the profiteer. He's always thinking of like ways to gimmick it and market this and like sell that. And, he technically, he could be like, taking advantage of this town, gouging prices and stuff. But, he becomes very useful. And, the same thing, all these characters, they've got goods and bads, ups and downs. But like, Bert and his, Gummer. Yeah. Bert Gummer. What's Fred Ward's name? Earl. My God.
Earl. Yeah, you were throwing me off with that before, too.
Yeah, you call him Bert for
sorry.
some reason.
Yeah, you threw me off too. I was
Earl. My mistake.
I thought you were
Ward is
naming
Earl.
just the two characters, but yeah, you called him Bert.
Several times. Yeah, my mistake.
Yeah.
Bert Gummer. Yeah, him and his wife are portrayed as like, these crazy doomsday preppers, like gun nuts, which they don't do it in like a negative light. It turns out to be very good that he's a prepper and a gun nut,
Yeah, thank fuck for that, dude.
Yeah, because Chang is pretty much like the town's economy, while them two, Bert and
they're like the military. Yeah.
Yeah, well, they're like the town's enforcement because there's not a whole lot of enforcement going on, and
there's no
like,
police
as the movie
force
goes
or
on,
anything.
we're happy that they're around.
Yeah, Bert is fully stocked up on everything you need to survive.
Jacob Ironside, you're gonna have to tell me about that story. about someone like there's got to be some inside dirt there. Reba has looked basically the same.
that guy that Jacob knows is only 25.
Reba doesn't really age that much. She's actually in a show right now, and like you can clearly tell that she's older, but she physically she hasn't gained much weight. She's
still
very
got
much,
it, dude.
Yeah.
She still got it on
She's
stage
close to
too.
70. Man. Like I saw her in concert years ago. She's
she's great. Love her. And also that's the thing about her is like she literally showed up to the they offering her the part was weird, and it seems like but he's just like a method man. Like they just showed up to the audition, killed it, got the part. They did the work. They didn't
I wouldn't be surprised.
When you said Method Man, I was thinking about Wu-Tang Clan. I was like, what the fuck is the Wu-Tang have to do with this
Method
shit?
Man, the rapper. Yes, he's the same way. Like people ask like Method Man, like, yo, get me on the wire, bro. And he's like, go to the audition. Do what I did and go to the audition. Yeah, go to the audition and get the part. That's what I did, Same thing with Reba.
I can almost guarantee you that if she did an interview right now and people were, because obviously she's primarily a singer, that's what she's known for, but she did a lot of acting over the years, and I guarantee you if somebody asked her what was your favorite role, I would put money that she would say this one, because she clearly has a shit ton of fun with this role.
Same thing with
very outside of her.
Gross. Was it Michael Gross or Michael Grossman?
Michael Gross.
Yeah, Michael Gross. Yeah, he's playing totally against character with a character type because he was on the show with the Growing Pains.
I don't know, but he was on a television sitcom. I have to.
Yeah, he was the dad, the nice dad on the Michael J. Fox show, the sitcom, and then he totally goes against character type. Like he played like America's nice dad, and then he went on to play like my dad in this movie, like this gun nut dude. Like
Family Ties.
Crazy.
Yeah, Family Ties. I think that's a
Family Ties. That's what it was. Okay,
yeah. And eventually, like as the sequels go on, he becomes like what I compare him to is Reggie Bannister in the Phantasm movies. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Phantasm.
I am.
No.
I'm not.
Okay. Well, long story short, he was a supporting character in the first Phantasm, and then they gradually built him on to be this hero character. The same vein as Michael Gross's involvement with Tremors.
See, I thought that was really cool with Tremors 2. You know, it's not great, but it's got some awesome parts, and it's a fun monster flick. But what also I love about it is, you know, the idea of taking the number 2 guy and making him the number 1 guy in the sequel. But then,
especially considering that they take into account what happened in Tremors 1 with him becoming a celebrity and all that stuff.
Yeah. You know, that's part 2's fun. But part 3, which is terrible, but they do the thing. They take the tertiary character, and now because he goes up to the number 2 spot in part 2.
Yep.
So now he's in the number 1 spot, and you're like, that's cool. But then he just stays there for the remaining 5 movies. You know,
He's the only.
That happens a lot, though. A lot of. Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Cynic. I'm sorry about that.
I was just going to say he's the only one they could afford by that point. That's why.
Yeah.
That happens a lot with those every time.
With those low budget sequels, you know, because I think, what did I say to you, Enzo, the other day? I was like, that's like Anaconda. The movie Anaconda does that too, where it's like out of all of a sudden now there's like 7 movies in that series or 8 movies in that series, and like what? And it's just weird because the budgets just get smaller, and then these actors sort of become synonymous with that series. It's almost like they're wound together intrinsically to the point where if the actor can't stop doing those movies, but the movies can't sustain without the actor either. It's very strange.
Yeah, I'm sure Michael Gross has no complaints because, you know, and that's the thing is like, who do you rather run into, a Tremors fan or a Family Ties fan? You know, probably the Tremors fan, I bet.
And plus, Michael Gross, he looks like he's having fun in all of the movies, man. I've seen Tremors 5, 6, and 7. He was having fun in those. Yeah, Bloodlines is probably the dumbest one, I guess.
Why is it that every single one of these small series that spin off of a major movie always uses Bloodlines as one of its names every time?
I didn't get past 4 for a very obvious reason. As soon as they started using more CGI, I'm just like, fuck this.
Yeah. Also, but 4 was a good return to form in terms of like, you know, it's just graboids. The idea, like, you know, the graboid itself is such an awesome creature, and then the sequels do the problem where they focus on the graboids and they change like the life cycle. They create, you know, shriekers which run around and have heat vision, and then they've got the ass blasters which fly and have like butt cannons. It's stupid. You know,
I don't mind the life cycle, but I'm very opposed to the 3rd film's iteration. But like, my issue with 2, namely 2, is like they blew up so many graboids, so that just kind of like diminishes the threat factor because they took effort, to get rid of these 4 graboids in this movie. There was like a lot of
graboids like stupid. Yeah, they had to make graboids stupid so that way when the shriekers show up, those are scary. But 2 has like
2. Like when that one came out, wasn't it? That was after Jurassic Park, right? And they were following suit.
96.
They were following suit by making their creatures like a velociraptor kind of.
Phil Tippett was involved with the creature production and the special
and also but 2 rocks because it's got like one of the best like gunshot scenes and one of the biggest explosions in a movie, practical effects. It ends on a big bang. But 2, I mean, it's just it does the thing where you know, if you just made the graboids in Mexico, that would have been fun. Yeah, it's just, it gets silly.
It does. But yeah, the
we've been on this slide for a bit. Let's progress the story, I guess.
Oh look, it's Finn Carter. She's right here, and yeah, she's checking out. Of course, the what is it? So she's a
seismologist.
Yeah, it's a seismograph.
She's
checking.
She's a
Is a
seismologist
size
and a
queen.
geologist. Yeah, size
All right.
queen. Which it's funny because over the course of the movie, as they get further into it, and I think Madcap, I think you touched on this. They keep asking her questions that are very outside of her range of science knowledge. Like they start asking her biology questions and chemistry questions as the movie goes on. She's like, that's not what I do.
Why do you keep asking
Yeah.
me? Yeah, why do you keep asking me? That's the other thing that's great about
Because, you
Rhonda.
know,
She does
yeah.
not. No, Rhonda does not. Butt heads with the dudes. She compliments them. You know, she instantly just like fits right into the dynamic. You know, she doesn't clash with anybody.
I agree
Well,
with them, man.
as soon as you're introduced to her with Val and Earl, is like, yeah, she's a very sociable, approachable person. Like, yeah, like it's
And,
common.
You know what? She's not.
She's
not
happy
really-
to be there too.
Yeah,
She's also not like a super babe or anything, but by the end of the movie, because of her character and her actions and her attitude, like she is super attractive at the end of the movie. You're like,
Yeah,
oh,
she's
Rhonda.
charming. She gets
Right.
charming the more you watch the movie. Now, of course, we have more setup right here with the cat. That's what they call her, right? The caterpillar.
Well, yeah, it's a caterpillar, an old caterpillar bulldozer.
So they call it the cat, which of course will be relevant in a couple of maybe an hour or so. Yeah,
Dude,
and,
everything in these opening 10-20 minutes is all setups. Like they show the fridge makes the hissing sound. They show, you know, they're it's just so much setups, and then huge payoff. Like so many payoffs in this movie.
and then of
Well,
course
it sets
then taking
up,
all that shit. You go ahead.
well, it sets up the issue where Val and Earl are like getting sick of the handiwork that they have to do around perfection. That they really want to like branch out. They want to move out, and you know, if it was any sooner, I think the whole town would have been fucked if they came across the graboids without Val and Earl's like presence, because
Yeah.
they were the first guys to leave, and then they were the first guys to discover like signs of a threat that's going around town.
Yeah, because of
Dude, that's like
because of Edgar Deems, because they find his corpse pretty soon, actually. Because this is basically the last straw for them. So for those of you like Amelia who haven't seen the film in the chat, you have Earl and Valentine over here, and what they're very, very pissed off of their job in a perfection, and they want to leave the town. They've wanted to do it several times over the years, but they've just never really committed 100%. And today's the day that they commit, because I guess Melvin's shit just went on them. And yeah, so they're pissed off. They really want to leave the town, and I love this scene because it's like, hey, I have work for you. It's gonna be enough for a couple of months. I'll put in some free. I'll put in lunches. They don't
And
really
beer.
care. There was
Yeah, and
what's
they just
this
leave.
beer? It's just the look that Kevin Bacon gives.
Yeah, the beer is what almost sets it. It's like I'll give you some
Free
sandwiches.
beer.
Basically, they're like, nah, beer. Okay,
yeah.
which might
They
explain why
drive
he
off
couldn't
anyway.
get that ale before. He's probably just drunk all the time.
hungover.
And
Yeah.
in the back there, you can see little Alexi from
Mindy?
Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, and
Yeah,
this is her mom, of course.
She would have grown up to be extreme after being in both those movies. She would have grown up to be extremely traumatized.
Yeah.
comes
I
back
can't go to
for
the
Tremors
sand. I
3.
can't go. I
She's in
can't go on
Tremors
vacation on
3.
tropical islands. I can't go on tropical islands. I can't go in the sand. What's going on?
Yeah. Well, you know,
Hey.
what's funny about the septic tank scene is like that you get a vibe that that's not even the first time that's happened to them, you know, getting sprayed with septic water, you know, like they're kind of like
It was
grossed
nasty.
out about it.
It was nastier looking than you would expect. It was like black. It wasn't even.
That is what it looks like.
yeah.
Septic
That is what it looks
water.
like. I've never. That's not really how you do it around here. I don't
You've
really
never
know.
seen the movie RV with Robin
Yeah.
Williams?
See, I have a fetish where I like to put on
Long
one of those
time ago.
skin tight rubber suits and then I climb in people's septic tanks with a snorkel. So I could tell you it's black water in there.
Yeah, it's
That's
nasty.
actually, isn't that the actual term, Blackwater? Is it like because I know there's gray water which can be filtered and reused, and then Blackwater is essentially it cannot be treated, and that's usually septic tanks and
Yeah.
step pools and stuff
The only
like that.
Blackwater I know is from Red Dead Redemption, dude. That's pretty much it.
Blackwater.
Yeah, I think that's the actual term is Blackwater, so that makes sense.
Yummy.
Yeah, this is basically turned into a Red Dead Redemption stream. We have Blackwater, we have Valentine. We're gonna have something
This
else
movie
soon.
is like it has got Western
Yeah, it's
vibes
got
too,
Western
man.
vibes.
Big Western vibes.
Nice.
Yeah,
soundtrack
it's,
helped
this
the
is
nonstop.
the actual definition.
Not-
Blackwater is wastewater from bathrooms, toilets, etc., that contains all the various matters that can't be treated.
Yeah, the nasty shit. Well,
Yeah, gray water is
the
like stuff.
nastier shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gray water is like water that comes off your roof or something. It can be treated and cleaned, but it probably has contaminants and stuff. But it's not stuff that will not respond to being cleaned.
So
People
And
up in your
so-
area
yeah.
calling it Blackwater. Blackwater.
so we find Edgar Deems over here, played by it's
A dummy.
to me. I found this hilarious. His real name is Sunshine Parker. So it's like,
Yeah.
man, they parked his ass in the sunshine for this scene. That's what. I just
Yeah,
thought-
he had a deleted scene where you kind of see him wandering around, interacting with someone in town, being the town drunk, basically.
Ah,
Yeah. So he doesn't get an introduction, but he is the first victim that we come across.
And then there were 13.
yeah. At this point, they are 13 because who gets killed next? It's the old Fred. I think. Yeah, old Fred
Fred,
gets killed.
yeah.
next.
Yeah.
yeah.
Which is weird because I'm not
James.
even sure if they've been in the town long enough to be on the post because they're building a house. They're living in an RV and just got there. It seems he's like that's kind of how they play it off that they haven't been there that long. That house is barely framed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because
he's like the
yeah,
town
go
got a
ahead.
doctor. Hooray!
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
It's like the town has a
No.
doctor.
So
It's
they
the same.
diagnose fucking oh fuck, I forgot his name again. The fucking
That's Footloose guy. Yeah, it is.
The old
no,
guy.
the guy on the tower. I forgot his name.
Oh, the drunk guy.
Edgar.
Edgar, sorry. So they diagnose Edgar and they find out that he died of thirst. So he was up on that tower for God knows how long, which really sets up what these characters are going to end up doing in order to avoid the threat.
So they're a little wrong about it though. So they say that he would have had to be up there for 3 or 4 days to die of dehydration, but they're in the desert, so it's probably closer to like 36 hours because he would been. It's hot. They'd be sweating. It would be quicker.
The number one thing in the desert, obviously you need water and you need food, but before that you need shade. Shade will kill you in a day, especially if you're an old drunk guy. Like
yeah.
It's already dehydrated as fuck.
Right.
Yeah, he would have. There's exposure is basically even at night because deserts get extremely cold too. So it's like they go at these rapid swings from hot to cold because there's nothing to trap any of the heat down.
Yeah.
So
we all know a man like Edgar is not pissing clear. Okay, he's got some dark amber urine.
So we meet Megan and Jim Wallace. These are the two doctors of the town, and we have the man from Footloose on screen, as Amelia put it, the dude from Footloose there. And of course, old Fred makes an appearance. There's
now that's not fair, guys. Kevin Bacon was also in She's Having a Baby and Flatliners and
Friday the 13th.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
at this point, he wasn't in Flatliners, was he?
he was in a lot of shit in
1990.
1990.
I think he was in
1990, yeah. Sure, yeah, 1990. My favorite Kevin Bacon movie is Hollow Man. I rewatch Hollow Man.
Yeah,
I was just thinking
Oh,
that.
that's great. That's the modern Invisible Man remake.
Do you remember Stir of Echoes?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
dude!
Stir of Echoes is fun,
I watched Stir of Echoes for the first time. I shit you not. It was 2 days ago, dude. That's
a good movie.
I loved it. Yeah, I thought it was fantastic.
I've never even heard of that one. I'll have to check that out.
It was completely overshadowed when it came out by like The Sixth Sense. It came out around that time.
Yep.
But it's a really good film. Yeah.
It's one of those few ghost movies
quick
where like
general-
the ending rocks.
Go ahead.
The ending actually makes it better. The ending's like cool. We're like, oh, that
Well,
makes sense.
I was
it
gonna
actually
say, like,
made
what's the
me-
quick general concept of it, just so I know what I'm going into.
Imagine The Shining.
Okay.
The Shining ripped off this.
Okay.
That's pretty much it. Yeah. So it's based on Richard Matheson's book, A Stir of Echoes from 1958. I know because I bought the book right after I finished watching the movie because it was so interesting, and I love Richard Matheson's work. And so so it's people who have this ability to see the dead or to sense the dead. And so Kevin Bacon's character, his son has it, and he gets it because his wife's sister hypnotizes him for fun during a soiree. And the basic premise is there's this woman called Samantha in the house that his son talks to, who is a ghost, of course, and he's just trying to figure out what happened to her. And that's the plot. That's pretty much it. It's really good, man. Really good.
Really good.
Really, really good. I was surprised to see Sam Witwicky's dad in a pretty cool, role because he plays one of the neighbors.
It's shocking. Yeah, it's a really good role.
Really nice.
I completely
Sam
forgot about that
Witwicky's
movie.
dad from the guy from you talking about Shia LaBeouf from Transformers?
Yeah, Sam Witwicky's dad. He's in it.
I'm like, who the hell's Sam Witwicky? I'm thinking about it for a minute. I'm like, really, dude?
That obnoxious guy that screams the entire movie.
You guys know the guy with the obnoxious name.
Yeah, Sam Witwicky's dad. He plays a good role in it. I really, really like Stir of Echoes, man. I definitely recommend it.
Well,
I'll let you guys know about the book.
Yeah, but Kevin Bacon started doing like all these villain roles, but there's something about like in the early 2000s where there was like several movies where he kept showing off his penis. It was like Hollow Man was one, and Wild Things, and he kept
he had to bring the bacon, bro. He had to bring the bacon.
I don't want to see that.
I remember that scene in Hollow Man because it not only was it strange because his skin was invisible in the scene, so it was like you were seeing muscle and vein. It was like, ooh.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. Paul Verhoeven directed Hollow Man, which is why it's so great. And one of Paul Verhoeven's ideas that obviously did not make it in the movie was the idea that he was going to be constantly walking around with an erection.
What?
Yeah.
That sounds like Paul Verhoeven. That sounds like something he would come up with.
Yeah. It makes it way scarier. Dude.
I mean, considering what he becomes throughout the movie, it does make it way scarier.
That's the thing is, so it'd be like how would they even work that in? He would have to like walk around and be like, "I'm hard right now," like the whole movie.
Dude, imagine you're getting strangled to death by somebody. You're murdered. That's awful. But imagine like you notice he has a huge boner when he does it. Like that's like holy shit, a whole nother level of oh my God.
It's like there's a scene he throws it's like he does like an old school ghost thing where he throws on like a sheet. And then all of a sudden, the front is just pointing forward. You're just like, okay. I'm just trying to come up with a way they could work that in with an invisible character.
Oh god,
dude, I love Hollow Man. It's my favorite Kevin Bacon movie. I rewatched it about a month and a half ago. I rewatch it basically every 3 months. I think Hollow Man is fantastic. Do watch it.
Yeah,
I would have to say this.
Everyone who hasn't seen it.
Do you want me to put it on the schedule? I can just do that.
Honestly, dude.
Yeah,
I like
Hollow Man.
I love it. But I would have to say this is my first favorite Kevin Bacon one. Hollow Man being a close second. I don't know. This movie's
I would say it's my first too.
He is an actor that had a very strong like shift to going from very that was bright for a second there.
Yeah, I know.
He was always playing in comedic, not only comedic roles, but like he was always a protagonist, and then out of nowhere he was just always and when he like turned 40 or something, I don't know. He was just like, no, I'm only doing antagonists from now on. It's a very hard line on when he decided to start shifting over.
Yeah.
And so poor Fred gets graboid by the graboid, and so has his sheep flock, and they're all in bits and pieces just scattered around. So Val and Earl come across like a hat on the sand. They pull it out and they see, oh my god! And just the implication of that image, I can't imagine how horrible he must have gone out. They see Fred's head under the hat.
Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is like this is interesting to me because are they just taking bites out of the creatures because or whatever it is that they're eating, because later on they take the store owner completely down.
So I think now they probably didn't feed on him entirely because they had the huge flock of sheep. I'd give them that. Maybe they weren't hungry enough for him. because
Well,
of the flock of sheep.
it could be like because it's shown later on when they're on horses that the tongues might be because of the tongues themselves function like teeth, or kind of like breaking down prey to make it easier for the whole graboid to consume. But I guess with Fred's case, he got sucked through the dirt, so I would assume like when his body reached his gullet, it was enough for the graboid mandibles to kind of like cut off his head, like before it can consume him fully.
I think one of the things that would probably be, more accurate is if everything was just missing, like there's no sheep or this guy's gone, but we got to establish something horrific has happened. So, for some reason, the graboids are just chomping out of these sheep, like eating half of them for some reason. That is a little, out of.
They also can't see. Don't forget. So, like, they might not even realize, though, he's not making noise anymore. By the time you get up to the shoulders, he's dead. So there's a possibility his head just detaches, and they're not even aware it's there. They can't see it.
Fair enough. And also, Tremors, man, just realized a ton of the stuff that happens in Tremors is, Eight-Legged Freaks took inspiration from it. So same with the Western stuff. I love Eight-Legged Freaks, man. It's
that I don't have to add to the schedule. It's already on there.
yeah, dude. I fucking love Eight-Legged Freaks. I love it so much.
Yeah, I know you do, because this is like the 10th time I've been in a conversation
Yes.
with Eight-Legged Freaks.
Well, I can probably say this why you would love it. Scarlett Johansson gets jizzed by a spider, which
she does. She does.
Yeah.
I mean, the mom that played her was pretty. Well, the one that played her mom, the actress, was pretty hot. So it's all right.
I enjoy any film. This one, anything where there's a unseen, or at least a big portion of the movie, an unseen killer. I love that. Not knowing what I mean. Obviously, this one is the marketing kind of sort of gives it away right off the bat because of
it was 90s marketing, man. They gave away everything back then.
But I like when you don't know exactly what is attacking people, because it adds that air of mystery to it. Your brain can create worse things than the screen can, which is one of the reasons why
you're gonna learn about them bit by bit, like a little bit here and there, and you finally piece together in the halfway point what it actually is, Yeah.
Well, I was going to say that's why the Blair Witch Project worked so well, because you never saw what it was. And then when eventually, screenshots and you got to see what it looked like, nothing could, no matter how horrific you make a thing look, it is not worse than what your brain can create, because it will pull from all of your worst fears and deepest corners of your brain. And it's impossible for a person to mock up that for everybody in the audience. It's literally impossible.
Yeah, borrowing from Jaws, just not really showing it at first.
Yeah, everyone knows what a shark looks like, but the fact that you don't actually see how big the shark is and all this stuff helps with Jaws. Also on the schedule this year.
And we have these two disposable dudes, sadly, who are just gonna die for us because, hey man, we need some cannon fodder. They're here doing some construction work, but they drill into one of the graboids, and so this is the first time we see some nice little graboid blood. It looks like Evil Dead blood. Yeah, I can accept it.
It looks like tomato sauce.
It does.
That's one of the few things that's been consistent in all the movies is the burnt orange blood.
I was gonna say it kind of looks like orange marmalade.
It's got this red orange color, which also helps with the R rating.
Yeah, I couldn't eat shrimp dishes the same after seeing this. Shrimp coated in tomato sauce.
Yeah.
One important detail we got to mention here is that Val and Earl just saw Fred's head, so they're going back to town. They were just about to leave town, but they're going back to Perfection. And these two guys get killed. Well, one guy gets pulled in by the graboid, and the other guy gets killed by an avalanche. So the road is completely cut off for them.
Right.
And also getting killed. So sad.
Another movie that could have been totally ruined by cell phones. When you think about it, this movie would be, I
think it would have been it might have been a Blob situation where just have the National Guard come in at the end. That would have been right. It. Yeah, it's like most 80s or like most 80s and 90s movies, you just have nice B movie plot creature feature, and then third act is the fucking National Guard arrives. Like, okay,
with this one, it would actually not be too hard to make that not work, because they are in the middle of nowhere. They might not be anywhere near a cell tower. They might have terrible signal, or the graboid could easily knock over the only cell tower in that area. There's ways around it.
Yeah.
That could take out the ruining with a cell phone.
Yeah.
So now, who haven't I introduced yet? So we have
we have Hector
the
here.
dude behind Earl. The dude
Yeah,
behind
Hector.
Earl.
Yeah, the guy. He's the dude from which one was it? Good, Bad, and the Ugly. Isn't that him?
Hector.
Yeah.
It's Miguel, right?
I'm pretty certain it's the same actor. It's just he's older at that point.
Yeah.
Let me see.
So he's pretty much like the town, like grump neighbor and hard ass, who's trying to convince them to like just go. Trying to convince Val and Earl to go up on the road, and we'll send somebody down here. But at that point, it's already too late because the road's been cut off from the rock slide.
Yeah, he's the town rancher, or one of the ranchers.
Then on the right, in the shirt there, but not facing us, I think that's Nestor. He's not too important. Like we don't really see him. It's just cannon fodder, pretty much.
Yeah, he's the guy you know is gonna die because every time you see him, you're reminded he's in the movie.
Yeah.
He is like the weakest character in the movie. I'm sure he has a developed backstory. The idea that he's probably just some like drunk, I don't know, felon on the run, maybe or something.
I'm sorry, I gotta correct myself. I'm sorry, I was referring to Nestor, but yeah, Hector's the rancher guy who,
Oh, he's not actually. I always thought he was the dude from Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. The guy who was like the shifty-eyed one. Nah, he just looks a lot like him. Okay, I'm
Dude,
sorry.
the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly came out in like 1968.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, and this dude was already like. This guy was already in his like 50s when this came out. He just looks good.
Oh my god.
So phone lines are dead. Everyone's getting concerned because people are dying and people are disappearing. So it's weird. And of course, this is where we get to the point where they found out that the road has been blocked. So they make sure to say that it's the only way out by road, of course.
Mhm.
And the idea, like, oh, can't we just take an off road? Well, the idea is like, the mountain. There's like rocky mountains that obviously are difficult. You can't drive over them. You'd have to walk out of there, but that is out of the question later.
Definitely.
But I mean, if you look to the left of that, go back to her.
Yep.
There's not really much. They could just kind of go around this pile of rocks. I mean, I understand what they do.
Would you risk it though? Would you risk it? That's the thing, because you can try, but maybe something happens. Your exhaust get hit.
If the car flips over, or you get a flat tire or some shit.
I mean, at a certain point, though, while this is all going on, you're just gonna kind of go, okay, let's at least try to go around that pile of rocks.
Well, here's the other thing. As someone who grew up in the desert, like you got to have 4-wheel drive. You totally get stuck in loose sand. That happens all the time.
Yeah, they do mention that. They do mention that you need 4-wheel drive. They do account for that. But I think it's kind of the aspect ratio kind of harms them in this.
That would have been a good scene, is trying to show someone try to drive out of town and showing how futile that would be, and he dies. That would have been a good addition.
True.
But like when they do show this collapse of rocks, it only collapses for maybe about 20 feet. So they wouldn't. I'm not saying like they have to drive out and go only on that, but there's like just skirt the edge of the road here.
You're just saying,
and try to get around this pile of rocks. That's what I'm saying.
So you're saying, let me propose something. So you're saying like if the Empire had like a laser fence and then there's like this patch of area outside the fence, it could have easily gone around, like in that piece of shit
something
show.
like that. Yeah, that's why I'm saying I think the thing that's hurting them here was the aspect ratio of the filming on like a 4x3 television back in the day. It would look a lot worse than here. You can kind of see that there's no rocks to the left of this pile.
Yeah,
I see what you mean. So this
it
one
wasn't like
bigger.
Welcome back, Cynic.
Hey, thank you.
Did we miss anything you wanted to mention while you were gone?
I don't know what I missed. So I don't know.
We pretty much talked about the guys who were working on the road that got attacked. Was there anything in there and the blood and all that stuff that when he with the jackhammer?
No, I unfortunately didn't get a chance to rewatch this before the stream, so I'm running off of memory of watching it 5,000 times in my life.
All right, well, we're gonna get to the clips eventually. That'll probably
That's a pretty good memory though, so it's all right.
I mean,
I do like how the one guy with the jackhammer who drills into the graboid. That dude totally looks like Nosferatu now. You know, I never thought I'd
Yeah, he
say
does.
that.
He does. He looks like Count Orlok. Yep, he
That's
does.
the kind of mustache Orlok's got in that movie.
He's got that Orlok stash. Yep. And so yeah, so at this point they do get attacked. They don't know that they're attacked by the graboid, but their car gets stuck when they're trying to
Right.
reverse. And so they do manage to go away. And Fred Ward is giving us, 101 gun safety right here, pointing it directly.
Yeah,
at
his
Kevin
finger's
Bacon.
on the trigger, pointed
Yeah.
right at
Oh my god. Yeah.
Now, granted,
Yeah,
he didn't cock the hammer back, so it would be really hard to accidentally pull this trigger right now. But yeah, you never put your finger on the trigger unless you plan to shoot.
Yeah, so
No, Bert. There's a lot of great, a lot of poor gun handling in a lot of movies. This is not one of them. This has got some great, people following the rules. Especially Bert Gummer, dude. He's great.
I do like how
Well,
the,
they actually go through a lot of the little details when he's going on. This particular one, no, this is the worst.
it's just the
thing
still where
possible.
you just see it's aimed directly at Kevin Bacon's head. It's like, all right, cool.
yeah.
So
Like I
do
said,
like
he didn't
how
cock the hammer back, so he would have to pull. He would have to accidentally pull really hard right now for that to fire. But
they accidentally shoot Valentine in the face, man. It happens.
Hit a
It
pothole,
happens.
man.
It does
It happens.
happen, dude.
It happens.
it does. It's possible. I'm just saying it's a little bit harder, but it's still against every rule you should ever follow.
I do like the four-leaf clover. The luck, the symbol of luck is on Bert's side because every time they do a rock paper scissors, he wins. That's pretty cool.
I also love. This is how I play rock paper scissors from this movie. It's like 1, 2,
Oh, I didn't.
throw.
That's a great right there.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, there you go.
Sure.
But yeah. It's always been for me growing up 1, 2, and throw, not 1, 2,
Yeah, it's
3.
a 1,
throw. I
2.
hate
It's
that.
1, 2 shoot. And that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
It's a very common thing that I think that ruins every game of rock paper scissors ever. Is people never know which to go on, and then the one person will always be like, "Well, I didn't know I was supposed to go yet." Like,
yeah.
I just say
Dude,
fucking.
me and my brother would do
Well,
rock paper scissors, and it'd just be like 1, 2, draw, 1, 2, draw, 1, 2, draw. Like we're on the
really,
same
what you should
wavelength
do
all the
is
time.
put it behind your back because someone who has really good
Oh,
fast
yeah.
twitch muscle fiber you can make it look like you're doing rock or scissors or paper all at once. And if you have good hand-eye coordination and fast twitch muscle, you can basically do all of them and get it. So
It sounds like cope from someone who lost a lot at rock paper scissors.
no, I'm actually really good at doing exactly what I said. That's why I'm telling people that I'm telling people how to not lose because
okay. Dark hour. Go. Okay.
So it's
One. Okay. Go. 3, 2, 1. One.
Motion is like this, and then you throw that out. Basically, you have to do it quick, but you have to be able to.
I'm telling you to do it. Do it live, dude, with me right
like me
now.
and Dark
One.
Hour.
Well, I can't see what you're doing.
That's the point. I'll tell you if you lost or not. Okay, don't worry. Okay,
That
go.
doesn't just go on. That's
Go,
you
go,
can't
go.
tell you.
Go
While
ahead,
you
go ahead.
guys discuss rock paper scissors off some other time. So to go back to the movie, Val and Earl discover that the construction workers are missing, and they back their truck against a hill, but the truck gets lodged against something, and they break free. They head back to town, and then they see underneath their truck that some weird snake thing got attached to
19-inch
the axle.
dildo is right there, man. Yeah, nasty.
Yeah. And so everyone deduces, is it a snake? Is it an eel? Well, for us, for people who are new to this movie, and I know we kind of gave away, we don't know. And
But
then,
Walter Chang, dude. Walter Chang is just seeing money. That's it.
yeah, he sees money, so he wants to bid. He wants to make this into like a little, what do you call it? Like a gallery
Tourist
or-
trap. He wants to build like
Yes.
the come see the giant snake on the side of the road thing.
And so
It's like it's his
he's trying to
version of the
negotiate
world's largest
money.
ball of yarn.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, so Val and Earl try to negotiate money to get off this thing. So they keep asking for the price, but he was willing to pay them $5, but then they go up to like 15.
Yeah, I think they settle on 15, but the fact is that he starts charging for the pictures with the thing. So it's he's making way more money. So yeah, Walter Chang's market, where it was formerly written, what's under Walter Chang?
A hardware coldest beer in town.
No, I
I-
mean
it-
under like
No,
where it says
yeah.
Walter Chang, you can see that there's something that was put in there.
Just-
Oh, yeah,
Company,
I think-
company
Yeah,
market. I think that's what it says.
company market.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's kind of hard.
I never noticed that.
Yeah, he probably bought it from. He probably bought it for Walter Chang's up top. You know, he could have used his real name too. They could have used his real name. His real name is Victor Wong, so it's like,
right.
you know, Walter.
I
Chang,
love the variety that you can get at this store: groceries, hardware, coldest beer in town, and video rentals, and the post office is here too.
Just
video
everything.
rentals. I wonder what type of video rentals Walter Chang actually has, man.
Yeah, that VHS.
Walter Chang got this town by the balls. Sorry, I don't know what happened.
So,
You know what? I'm thinking about what you said though about how Mako said that this movie would have been very different if Val and Earl had left a day early. That would have been a whole nother entertaining movie where, like, imagine like you leave town and then a day or two late, several days later, you find out the whole town's been murdered viciously, and now Val and Earl are like prime suspect 1 and 2. And through like legal cases, they have to prove that there are like killer sandworms running around the town, prove their innocence.
but a way different movie, man.
Yeah, I'd still want to see that though.
So at this point, we're back at the doctor's place. Who, man, they have a nice relationship. They're building their house and everything. They're just relaxing, but their generator gets swallowed. I guess sucked up. And ladies and gentlemen, it's not looking good. Now I do have the clip of this, so let me just find it, and of course, let me play it. So F's in the chat for. Oh, what?
Oh, does this one have sound?
Normally it has sound. Yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna. I thought it was gonna be.
No.
If it's a non-sounded one, we have to.
No. Don't worry. This one has sound. So F's in the chat, ladies and gentlemen, for Megan and Jim Wallace.
Remember in Yellowstone? Oh, come on! Oh, yeah! Something shot! Oh, God! Oh, God! Get something! Get me out of here! Get me out!
I love that animation.
GG couple.
Man,
It
what
shows
a
you how like you could just have like a hand puppet and then you cover it in slime and now it's a movie monster. It just
There
looks
it
so
is.
much awesome with slime on it.
Yeah.
The design looks pretty good.
Yeah.
It's a horrendous way to go, man. Honestly,
Yeah,
Right.
getting stuck down. Ugh.
I think getting sucked down in the car would be much scarier than just getting sucked down.
Well, it's the great part where, like, you know, you think, oh, she's safe in the car, and then the car's getting dragged under. And I remember my dad being like, "What? Like those snake things couldn't do that? You know, they're not that strong." And it solves itself because, like, you think about how much would it be? It would be probably a worse situation if it was like hundreds of these snake creatures that can go underground. But the fact that they're attached to like one big one, but so you got less of them. But the trade-off is they're way stronger. Like they got like massive strength pulling a car underground. Oh man. And you think, like I said, you think you're safe in the car, and that's when that great moment where, like, the car starts shaking. Like, it seems like every scene the graboid gets more and more dangerous, throughout this whole movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it seems like it
it's a
grabbed
very-
him with like it grabs him instead of actually like biting onto him too, based on what he's like screaming. He's just yelling, "Get me out of here!" So it's like he hasn't even been bitten by anything yet.
It's a gradually escalating threat as the film goes along. And one thing to note about the movie, I think Red Letter Media pointed this out in their review of Tremors, is like you gotta keep your ears locked for the sound, because the past couple of victims are linked to a sound that attracted the graboids. You got Fred with the that rake or what have you. Just like just doing his little farming business, and then you got like
the hoe
guys with the jackhammer. That lures a graboid. Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad name. And that lures a graboid, and then here you have the generator with that leads to the poor doctor getting sucked down, and then with the car, the radio is turned on. Yeah.
Right.
and so they know that someone is there, and that's how the car gets sucked down.
Yeah, and man, so it knows it by then. Then after that, we get the justification that it's by vibrations, but then it depends on how heavy your vibrations are. Sometimes it's if you run, but you can stand still. But I don't know, man. We'll get it. We'll get to there when we get to there. But that's my only issue, as I said before, with the inconsistencies of when they attack or the force with which they attack.
Well,
you know. Some people
the
have
beauty
plot
is
armor.
they're animals, so sometimes they're just not hungry or whatever. I don't know.
Nah, I don't fucking accept that excuse, dude. This is a movie. There it is. So photos, you and the snake monster, only $3. There it is.
Oh, there's the videos, by the way. I never
Yeah.
noticed that. That's the video
Oh.
rentals. 2 for $1.
Has this been taxidermied?
No.
'Cause otherwise,
I don't
it's just
think
sitting there
so.
fucking rotting.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is.
Eventually it'll shrivel up and turn into like a little jerky. Don't ask what's on those videotapes with the white labels, by the way. Those are Chang's special selection.
Yeah, Chang's private collection. Yep. And
I wouldn't be shocked if you also have to watch them there. If you notice that there's a TV right above it, I wouldn't be shocked there's a VCR right on top of that, because odds are most people in this town don't have a VCR, so they probably come in, pay for 2 movies, sit in that chair that has the graboid tongue, and watch the movies while Chang just kind of watches you watch the movies. It's like a weird fetish he has.
Imagine if you did take the tapes home and you have it late and Wang just like shows up to your house, where my tape at?
It's not like he has to go very far. He just doesn't have to really lock the door. He just walks next door. Like you can see from where he's at if anybody walks in.
He's like, I see you through your window, man. Give me the tape. So yeah, the town council is basically just having a meeting. They're saying that everything is basically getting fucked. Everything is foobar, soon to be foobar, and they're trying to figure out a game plan of what they can do since the phone lines are down. There's no way out, and of course, the graboids are coming. We officially sort of have a notion of what they are now. Horseback, ladies and gentlemen. It's a Western, the coldest beer in town, and of course, losing once again. Well, this time winning, but still losing technically because he gets the gun, but Bert's wife gives him a better gun with more stopping power. I think that's what she says, because what he has isn't strong enough, and so they ride into
Winchester. I remember that. It's like a Winchester repeater, and I don't remember what she says she get, but hers is basically a high velocity sniper rifle.
Oh, yeah, I think that's Edgar's gun.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it was.
Probably.
Yeah, it's Edgar's gun.
And I think that I mean I'm not like a gun expert. Like something Rags would be really good at, but I think it's a Colt 45 is the handgun they have that they keep showing.
Oh wait.
Yeah, that's one more back. Yeah, I think it's a Colt 45, like a single action army.
Maybe. Yeah.
Sorry, Colt single action army. I mean that's what I meant.
Dude, this is what I'm talking
38,
about with
that
that screenshot with Earl with Fred Ward, how he like slays the movie. He's like my favorite part of the movie. Earl. I was saying Bert earlier. I meant Earl. Earl's like, just like his facial expressions and his like matter of factness and his just his grizzled, grumpy curmudgeon age. He's not an old man technically, but he's acting like one already. It's great. In fact, he was supposed to be played by Jack Palance, which would have been way different dynamic because like he's super old. It's like
yeah, that would have been very different.
Yeah,
right.
Weird.
I don't think
These
that
two
worked.
are up there with like Nick Nolte and Eddie Murphy and Gibson and what's his name, Glover. Like
there's apparently like there's apparently like a mentor protege friendship with Val and Earl.
Yeah, but they still have such appreciation for each other that they put themselves on the same pedestal, which I appreciate too.
I feel like this
like
is the prototype for what would end up being Obi-Wan and Anakin in the prequel trilogy. It almost feels like that throughout most of the movie.
Well, it's like Val is like hanging out with Earl because he gets he feels more accomplished and older for his age. Whereas the opposite's true. Earl hangs out with Val because it makes him feel younger. He's cool with the youngsters. He's it's just like they're buddies, they're pals, and there's no shipping of them necessary, for all you perverts out there.
No, let's not. Let's not bring up that train of thought for people.
It didn't become Brokeback Tremors halfway through the movie or anything like that.
So yeah, they decide to go on horseback, and I do love this little sequence where you have Melvin coming out with the graboid, well, the what's left of the graboid that they had before, and he's trying to scare everyone, acting as if it's choking him out. And Bert was 100% gonna shoot him because he just says, "Melvin, you got that close, this close." Melvin's
the boy who cried Tremor. You know, he's just graboid. He's always
he's a glorified prankster.
This is a fantastic screen grab, by the way. That face by Chang is.
His eyes are really like that.
Yeah,
and I don't mean Chinese. I mean, he's got one eye that's like wider than the other. I mean, that's wider.
Yeah.
He's got the Forrest Whitaker going on.
Yeah.
He's being lectured by an Atlanta Hawks fan. That's really too bad.
I was actually going to mention that. You could tell who like the transplants are because some of them wear like baseball caps, whereas other people wearing legitimate cowboy hats. So you could tell who like the transplants were for the area. Also, is it just me or is this kid like discount Corey Feldman? Like that's all I could feel.
He does come off that way.
Yeah.
Dude, I always knew this kid from Meet the Applegates. He's the son who starts smoking pot and becomes a burnout. So funny. But yeah, Bert's Atlanta hat, it eventually in the sequels becomes a Cubs hat, and they make a big joke about it. You know, I changed hats, not teams. It's weird. I don't know why. I think maybe Atlanta isn't a team, or they didn't.
Well, no, Atlanta. You could be a fan of. Was it a Chicago Bulls hat or a Cubs hat? What did you say?
It's a Cubs hat.
I mean, you could be a Cubs fan and an Atlanta Hawks fan. They're not the same league.
I gotcha.
They're not even the same sport.
I don't know. I'm a fat guy who watches movies. I don't watch sports.
The same.
No one wants to watch sports. We prefer that predetermined, story-driven performance art that we call wrestling. That's a real sport.
Yeah.
You don't think that if you don't think that all professional sports are predetermined at this point, you are sadly mistaken.
I doubt anyone watched the Chiefs game then the other night.
I did.
Oh no, I'm sure there's like politicking within professional sports. I'm not saying like it's not.
Oh no, they've straight up decided to just script this shit now. They're just like, oh, okay, well, this is what's going to happen. And occasionally we'll have a mistake in there, but it's clearly scripted.
You don't think it's suspicious that every Super Bowl in the past 10, 15 years has been like this close and like neck and neck game all the way to the fourth quarter?
I could top that for a while, and then people realized that the colors of the Super Bowl get predicted years ahead of time when they make the logos, and for a number of years the colors happen to coincide with the teams that got into the Super Bowl. It's like how is that possible? Welcome to Conspiracy Theories on my channel.
Sports Conspiracy Theories with 2 O's. And so they managed to go out to the doctor's place, and this is what they find. Well, technically they don't find anything, and they do make a ton of noise, which is interesting.
Yeah, they're stepping on the built home.
Yep.
I like this line coming from Val. Is like, you know, Earl deduces no one's here, but then Val responds, well, where the hell's that Goldie Oldie coming from? And then they dig through the dirt and they find, their car, like, just buried.
Buried, yeah. I really, really like the fact that they have the headlights still on. It just adds such eeriness to it. It's like, oh, God.
Yeah. That battery is
on
badass.
for a while. Yeah, battery is really good.
A real fresh battery, because that would have been on
the engine on. Is the engine running? I mean, that wouldn't work for a while, right? Underground, the exhaust and stuff.
Well, the engine would have seized by now, probably. It would have no air intake or anything. It would be sucking dust, so it probably would have seized by now. But the lights run off the battery, so it depends when the engine seized. It's a possibility that this would still be going. We also don't know exactly what time in the middle of the night, because it was pretty late. It could have been.
It was before.
It could have been 1, 2 in the morning, and they find this within 6 hours or something.
It was built Ford tough.
Yeah, it's a good Ford ad. That's pretty much it. And yeah, man, just a nice little shot of 2 bros on some horses on horseback.
They're hustling. They're hustling.
They're not gay.
Not gay.
Not gay. Not gay. And the horse gets attacked, sadly. Now, wait, let me check. Normally, I think
F's in the chat for the horse, everybody.
Yeah, F's in the chat for the horse. Now, so this isn't like StreamYard where when I play a clip that doesn't have sound, you guys are automatically unmuted. So you have to manually unmute whenever I play this when it doesn't have sound. So I'm gonna play a clip. Once it starts playing, you can unmute yourself so we can talk over it. All right, there we go. So yeah, man, I just love the practical effects of the ground cracking, all of this, and finally we see the full graboid for the first time. Which is,
just when you think it's just snakes, they shoot one of the tongues, and it leads into one much worse monster.
Oh yeah, did they manage to kill? So, which is
it kills himself.
Yeah, it kills himself.
Well, they also do a great job. They
tried.
show that ditch when they're riding into that area. They show that irrigation ditch, so it's all set up, and
true.
I love the design of the graboid. First of all, it is like they took like some rejected designs of the graboids and implemented that in the design of the arachnids from Starship Troopers. But like this snapping turtle style beak.
Yeah, the mandibles.
It makes it look extra scary. It makes it look like an animal that could exist. It looks like it's from this world or could be from this world. And it also makes it look less penisy. It doesn't look like a penis with a big snapping turtle head.
That's usually like the mainstay. That's usually like the mainstay design aspect for most American monsters. Is like they got to include the bug mandibles because they did that with the two monsters in the 2014 Godzilla film. Is that they look pretty much like how we visualize insects in monster movies.
That's pretty much ever since Predator, when they added the mandibles to Predator and it made it look just fucking awesome. Everyone was like, let's get mandibles into shit. We gotta get the mandibles in there. And
mandatory mandibles.
Yeah.
So how they pull this off is like a combination of miniatures.
Yes, the miniature work was really, really, really incredible on this one. And not only that, but it's the juxtaposition between miniature and full scale is basically perfect. And that goes down to not only the quality of the miniatures, but the quality of the editing as well. There's only, I think, one shot that's bad in this entire film, and it's the one where you have Bert shooting in the cellar. I don't know why, but there's a badly composited shot of him shooting at one of the graboids for I think 3 or 4 seconds. That's pretty much the only bad shot that you have because that was a composite shot. But everything else is in-camera miniatures. I do have some behind-the-scenes stills at the end of the miniatures, so you'll see what I mean.
Like
there's also a lot of full scale puppets and various other. Everything's practical. Everything's practical in camera, and that's why it still looks amazing 35 years later.
And, to get the motion, they had to use reverse photography. Like when the tongues come out of the graboid's mouth, that's reverse photography.
Yep. And it works really, really well, man. Congratulations to everyone who made Tremors, everyone who was part of the effects team, because you guys knocked it out of the park with this one. It just looks so fantastic. I think it's the sliminess. I think it's the aspect of you can tell that this thing is dry because of the sliminess it has on it. They managed to do that so well. It's fantastic. It really is fantastic.
One thing that they mention consistently is the smell.
Yes.
And I like that because first of all, we can't smell it. So that's actually our brain being like, well, what's the worst smell I've ever smelled? And that's probably what it smells like. It's another one of those little,
They probably smell like methane. They probably smell like methane and sulfur. Like who knows how deep underground these things can live.
Mm-hmm. Well, they probably smell like the worst fart you've ever smelled. That's probably number one. And also they have, probably decomposing. The way they eat, they have decomposing flesh on them, like in them. When they open their mouth, it probably stinks like decomposition.
Yep. Because
before everyone who was getting a picture taken with the one that was killed is
smelly.
It's just hopping that shit in.
The smell, man. Yeah, because the doctor, just before he gets sucked in, he says, it reminds me of when we went to Yellowstone with the natural gases. And he was like, yeah, maybe it's a natural gas leak. And nope, it's just a fucking graboid. Do worms smell? They do smell.
I mean, not like insane. They smell like dirt, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, they smell.
I thought you meant can of worms smell. No, I don't think it can.
No, they don't have noses. They just have mouths, so they just taste. They barely do that. It's just they kind of just siphon through like dirt and pull out nutrients.
Yeah, whenever I go
They're
fishing,
hermaphrodites.
whenever I go
Worms
fishing,
are like the
worms
perfect
and stuff like
organism. They can just live forever on dirt and nothing else, and just live.
Well, that's why it makes sense that the graboids are also hermaphrodites, and they would have reproduced somewhat asexually or hermaphroditically, I
like
guess.
that, yeah. And of course we get the full size of the graboid there. And it's like, yep, these are chunky boys, man. Really, really chunky boys.
Found
With
the ass end.
tails.
I love
they're
that.
called
I found the
pushers.
ass end. It's such a great line.
Yeah, those things are called pushers. The little spines
Yeah, the
they have.
spikes. And so she's basically telling them that there's been a ton of seismic activity all around. So this isn't the only one. There's
Or at
going to
least
be
3
a
more.
lot more. Yep, at least 3
Yeah,
more.
there's 3 more indeed.
And they get attacked by some of the other 2, so they have to get on Pride Rock and just chill there, and relax.
Circle of life.
Mm-hmm.
And just when you think you're on that rock and you think it's gone away, Val takes a plank of wood, smacks the dirt with it, but then the tongue comes out and grabs onto that plank.
Yep.
So this is
they're
one
smart.
patient motherfucker.
Yep. They're smart. It starts to establish the fact that they're smart. I'm surprised that they didn't do clever girl, but hey, if we would have said Jurassic Park stole it from them, but yeah.
Well, yeah, I think had Jurassic Park come out first, they might have tried to do something like that.
Would definitely
maybe not clever
done it.
girl, but they would have had a line.
And
Well, that's something they do in the sequels is like for some reason because it's more of a spectacle and it technically it would be more badass, but it's stupid. But the graboids in the sequels start breaching where like instead of just grabbing you and pulling you underground, they literally like fly out of the ground and like swallow you by like diving on top of you.
Oh,
And it's
that's
just
like a shark.
yeah, that's
like
that's
Great
really
White in
dumb.
Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So unfortunately they're stuck, so they have to crash on the rock. And then the next morning they do check again if the graboid is still around. And this is the mainstay graboid that locked onto their truck earlier. So
yep,
this is
that has
Stumpy.
one tentacle in.
So
yeah,
we're introduced
like-
to Stumpy, who's like the mainstay antagonist of the graboid pack. Anyways,
It's like the alpha of the group.
yeah, they
Spike.
check if it's still there. Of course, it's still there, and that's when
Like,
they
yeah, there's
realize,
actually a lot.
Yeah,
Is that the
Go ahead,
what?
sorry.
Go ahead.
He said Spike.
Oh yeah, the spike one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reference to Gremlins.
they check.
Stripe and Gremlins. Yeah.
Grammars.
Grammars, yeah, of course, grammars,
I
yeah,
said
grammars. They all start pole vaulting.
Yeah, they
Because
have to pole vault now because
they have to.
That's one of my favorite parts. She's like, "You guys good at pole vaulting?" I'd be like, "No." Who the hell is good
They're
at
like,
pole
no,
vaulting?"
It just turns out that Kevin Bacon's character is a former Olympic pole vaulter because he does it perfect on the first go.
Yeah.
No practice whatsoever.
Mhm.
It's just
I
like
mean,
take that,
yeah,
pole
pressure.
vaulters. Like, your job's not that hard. Anybody can do it.
You do have pressure on you, man. You fuck up, you're dead. So
Yeah, that's probably
one
why
of
they're
my-
so good at it. Because if they fuck up, they're dead. Yeah, you better
Yeah.
be. Good
I
at
love
it.
videos of pole vaulters going and the pole snaps and they just like fly in a random direction. Those are
Oh,
always
yeah.
fantastic. But
Yeah.
I wish that we had the clip of that because they do it in such a good harmony and sequence. Like they all go at
Oh,
the
yeah.
same time.
And also the music's so great. It reminds me of that song, like "Road to Nowhere" by Talking Heads. It's got that, or there's just that '90s vibe where everything had this like harmonicas and this kind of folksy vibe to it. It's great. Love it.
Yeah, the early '90s were all about the harmonicas. Even the same year, Arachnophobia had a bit of harmonica within that.
Harmonica and accordion and what's the big harmonica called? It's like this big. You know what's that thing called? One of
You're the
those.
music guy. I don't know.
Yeah. Sorry.
You're the one who's in like multiple bands. How the hell am I supposed to know what a giant harmonica is called?
Yeah.
So what they do is, of course, they manage to get onto the truck and they have to make a very quick getaway. So Rhonda is single-handedly driving with both of her hands, one on the
Quite
pedal,
literally.
one on the wheel. Yep. So
Yeah.
She can't see shit because her head's underneath it. So
Yep.
It was also funny. The tongues come out, and then Kevin Bacon just freaking smacks a tongue.
Yep, he does. He just slaps it. It's like, get the fuck out of here, man. And yeah, they're back eating some sandwiches that, of course, was promised to them whenever they would do some work. So hey, she delivered, and it wasn't just a throwaway
hopefully
line.
they used some of those cleaning products before they, because they were out in the middle of the desert sweating and hitting giant worms. I hope they clean their hands.
Well, they spent an entire night out there, so yeah, they probably needed a shower anyways. But anyways, the storm must stink because Mr. Chang just leaves the fucking thing over there.
Dead ass body over there.
Yeah. Not only does the thing stink because it's decomposing, but it just stinks naturally. It's like, all right, double threat at this point. And so yeah, so they're of course discussing what they're gonna do. And at this point, they're thinking that maybe someone else will come. And we get this next shot, of course, where help has arrived and help was already gone. So yeah, it's gonna take a little while for someone else to come and get them out of the situation. So they start organizing themselves as to where they can go. And of course, Valentine checks on the map. He says maybe this place. It's rocky. We know that, of course, rocks. Well, I guess it's a
barrier there.
Yeah, a barrier. Yeah, I was looking for a word like that. And yeah, rocks. And they know that they're smart. So they are patient bastards. Now, shit goes foobar because, hey, yep, the graboids are here, and boom.
Yeah,
there it
because
is.
every past victim, even Val points this on the map, every past location of the victim is leading the graboids closer and closer to perfection.
Yeah. And this is pretty much the exact halfway point of the movie. And now it's like, now the movie is becoming like an escape movie. Like, you know.
Yeah. I mean, there's no time for downtime. They gotta act. But it's too late because the graboids are already here and they're looking for some food now.
And these are full-scale models, man. It's really cool. Oh man, this is just really, really cool. And yeah, that of course, I think that's what's his name? Nestor, who kind of gets killed.
Yeah, this guy, Nestor, who's like the town hard ass, but then you kind of see his true colors because he freaking takes flight and just leaves in the background.
Yeah, he's gone. And so, yeah, everyone is concerned because the graboid is here. And we have Mindy, who's just outside relaxing.
She's a great example of just how boring this town is because she's on that pogo stick constantly. I think earlier on, she counts it was like 600 something times she's gone.
Dude,
yeah, something like that.
That was what living in a small town by yourself is like when there was, pre-internet and all that stuff. It really is like, it makes sense that that other kid is, he's a latchkey kid and he's basically attention seeking all the time because he's a little asshole. And
yeah, I mean, it's like a rat.
Stick.
Like a rat living in a cage its whole life, The rat's kind of crazy,
Hey, maybe this movie's teaching us to, maybe we're done with this. We can go out and touch grass.
Hell yeah. Why not touch grass and maybe get fucking eaten alive by graboids?
Make sure not to touch the sand, though. Just touch the grass. Just the grass.
Yeah, keep away from that.
I'll make sure not to touch the sand. I don't know if you guys have seen that shitty ass movie, The Sand. No? Nobody?
No.
Oh God.
I mean, you were the one who always is telling me that you would get the 20 crappy movies on one bootleg DVD and watch all of them. So you've seen a lot more of those than I have.
Dude, The Sand is a very, very, very shitty movie. That's kind of like Tremors. It's a bunch of teenagers. They get drunk on the beach and they wake up and they realize that whenever they walk on the sand, something just eats them.
So it's basically Tremors on a budget, on an even worse budget, is what you're saying.
Even a worse budget.
Beach.
Yeah, imagine Tremors made by Asylum Studios, like Asylum Production.
Dude,
that would be it.
There's like a sequel they never did. They never did Tremors on the beach. They did Tremors in the Arctic. They did Tremors on an island. Tremors in Africa. Tremors in Mexico. Tremors on a beach.
Tremors on a beach.
Good.
They could have. Yep. And so of course Kevin Bacon zooms like a motherfucker on, he's running and he grabs her, manages to get her away, but of course the graboid is coming through and they have to escape. Now, of course, as I
He's
said
especially skilled because he runs in cowboy boots, which
I was gonna
don't.
say those heels.
Yeah,
Well,
heels.
it's not even just the heels.
Dude.
Cowboy boots are historically have no grip. They're like smooth bottomed, so you don't really get good traction. They're hard. There's a reason why the sneaker and the cowboy boot are about as far on the spectrum of shoes as possible when it comes to what's chosen for running.
Yep. Yeah, I think if you tell me cowboy boots or maybe those wedding shoes, something like that. If you tell me I have to survive the apocalypse,
Wingtips.
Yep. If you tell me I have to survive the apocalypse in those, I'm just saying, dude, I'll fucking go barefoot. And that's it.
Cowboy boots. The reason they don't have laces or a lot of crazy deep embellishments in the bottom because for practical reasons, you were walking behind, like dealing with cows. You were walking through cow shit. They had to be easy to clean and not get stuck in like crevices.
That's why they call them.
It's cool when well, like I said, like you said, it takes down that pogo stick, and then I love how it like coughs up the pogo stick like right behind him, like with the graboids now, like right behind him all of a sudden. Yeah. This part is the movie. This is the part of the movie that makes everyone like wince, like in pain, like oh my god, getting wrapped up.
Stuck in the barbed wire.
Oh god, dude.
I do. It's a clip without audio, so let me play it, and then you can unmute yourselves. All right, there we go.
Technically not. So technically, that's not barbed wire. That's like chicken like wire because barbed wire has like razor blades, but it still hurts like fuck.
Oh yeah.
Also, this is the first time we get to sexualize Rhonda. Taking her pants off and realizing like, oh, she's got some legs. She's like, she's not a. She's like. I'm not even trying to be funny. Like she's slowly kind of coming out of this like nerdy
shell.
Caricature. Mm-hmm. Yeah. She's a woman with womanly needs and desires. Yes, Kevin Bacon here to fulfill those desires.
The speed at which the graboids, I don't know. I feel like they would be eaten up already. We've established.
Is that one of the inconsistencies you were referring to with the graboids?
Yeah, I feel like the graboids they can attack. At this point, they're just playing with their food. I will accept the argument that they're toying with their food. I can accept that. Okay, but I don't know. I feel like
they killer whales.
Yeah, orcas.
They're assholes.
And the fact that two of them converge at one point. We don't really see that happen. I mean, well, we do, but you think like with three graboids loose, you see all three of them like converge at one point to find their food source.
Yeah, you think? Yeah, that's what I mean. I would say that this would have been a way faster take. This is plot armor, in my opinion, for me.
Honestly, the scene that would hurt more, I think, and like yes, the wire is this when they're cleaning her up with the alcohol and all that.
Because right now they have to be quiet, so it's all nothing but whisper talking. So they got to figure out what they have to do, but they got to whisper so the graboids don't hear anything. But then all of a sudden, as established earlier on, the soda machine acts up. They both, not both, Val, Earl, and Chang frantically try to unplug that thing, but it's too late. One graboid bursts out, grabs Chang.
And ladies and gentlemen, F's in the chat for Mr. Chang. R.I.P. Chang, man.
Do I have to say it? Does everyone know where I'm going to go with this? Anybody who's watched this stream or knows me knows where I'm going to go with this.
Go with it.
Go ahead.
This is what he gets for trusting Pepsi.
Pepsi machine.
Oh,
come on.
Well,
he died because
a couple
of the
things about this scene.
Coca machine would if it was a Coca-Cola one, it would have been fine. It would have been, it's because it was Pepsi.
It would have worked.
It's true. Well, you know, what's funny is like it's not only that we're learning that the graboid can burst through a hardwood floor. It's like the graboid is learning that it can burst through the floor. You know, it's like, oh, I could do this. All right, cool. And interesting thing about this scene is
that explains why he comes back for food soon.
yeah. Well, oh my god, dude.
It's the MSG. It's getting to him.
Yeah. Well, it's funny.
He got
It's like
that
this
Quentin Jaws treatment too, man.
yeah, dude, and getting dragged down in a but that's why the graboid is such a stupid name, but that's why they're called graboids in honor of Chang, who, you know, like someone said in the chat, I think it was Jamma, but like, yeah, in the sequel, that's what they say. Our buddy Chang, he named them graboids, then they ate them. It's just like, yeah, ouch. But Kevin Bacon, his wife was like super pregnant during the making of this movie, and when these guys were on the top of the fridge, like, you know, that's where he got the call, like, your wife's in labor, and he like jumped off.
Oh,
All
wow.
right, that's a wrap for the day. So he like jumped off this fridge and went
fun.
straight to
I
his
didn't know
his
that.
wife.
Oh,
Also, what's
actually-
funny is they were gonna name the baby the wife wanted to name the daughter Megan. And
No.
Megan Bacon. Oh man.
And on that note, we have to lose Cynic. He has a prior engagement he has to get to. So unfortunately,
Oh,
my
that's
friend
a
has to
shame.
do this.
All right, dude. Well, Cynic, I guess. Wait. Look, before I send you out. Boom! It is time to plug your shit, my man. Cynic, let the people know what you're doing, what you've done, and what you're gonna do, where they can find you. Of course, all the links are in the description, but let the people know.
Yes, sir. You can find me at the Movie Cynic on YouTube. Search that, and I am dropping a new video today. So,
Nice.
and it's a video covering every Sonyverse Spider-Man less movie that was released.
Yeah.
The Spiderless verse.
Yes, the
The
Spider-less verse.
Yeah.
Yes.
Man.
And yep, that's where you'll find me.
are you doing BSEP tomorrow?
Yes, I believe. I think so. Yeah. And if we do that, it'll be at 4 p.m. EST. But I'll figure that out after my engagement later today that I have to get to right now, actually.
All right, man. Dude, take care, man. Have a great day, and see you next time, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
take
Thanks
care.
for having me, guys. And
My
it was good
pleasure.
seeing
Thank
everybody.
you for coming on, man.
All right, see you,
See ya.
dude. See ya. All right, boom, boom, boom. So we're back to the chips, the ketchup, and all the broken snacks on the floor. Dun-dun-dun. And yeah, so now we have a good. I think this screenshot is a good layout, so you guys can see my mouse, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So right now we've got Rhonda over here. We have, I guess it's Miguel. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's those.
Miguel.
It's three. It's Miguel.
Yeah, Miguel, Valentine,
Earl.
and Earl over here, and then of course you've got Melvin over here, and just in front of them is Nancy and Mindy. So yeah, those are the situations where everyone is, and of course Nestor, he's on another shed just around. No, he's on his
RV.
trailer. Yeah, he's on his RV. Yep. So yep.
Yeah.
And now Bert and his wife, they're sort of thinking about what they're going to do as well. They want to get their car, go down, but of course they want to get some weapons first. Now, oh yeah, there it is. So there, do we see him? Oh yeah, there he is. There's Nestor. Boom, and then there's Nancy. And
I was saying this. I was thinking this the other day when I was watching it. Nestor might actually have been safer inside than on top because his is a mobile home, so it just kind of gets moved as the ground comes up.
unless
he's
they
going to
just
fall off
burst
it.
through it.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, they have to go
yeah,
with the
like,
knowledge that they have to be on the roof.
Yeah.
I understand that, but for him, it's actually probably more dangerous because as soon as it gets something comes up underneath, it just turns and he's just going to fall off. That's
Yeah, it
exactly
can't
what
break through metal. Like it can't break through that.
It probably can break through the metal, but he's essentially there we go.
Yeah. Nestor should have just climbed the roof with Mindy and Nancy. He was right next to them too. I don't know.
His is not a permanent structure. Like there's manufactured homes that are essentially just foundationless houses that are kind of similar to this, but his is legitimately a mobile home. It's going to just turn over.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, let's just say it's not the worst place he ends up hiding after he loses his home.
Oh yeah. So now they're in contact with Bert and Heather, and yeah, so they're letting them know about the current situation that's happening in Perfection, and they're coming through the ground. Ooh, wait.
But the question is, how are they coming through?
Yep. So I do have two clips. I have the original clip with audio, and then I have another one without audio. So I'll play the one with audio first, and let's see a graboid die by a massive elephant gun. So
Gun porn, yay!
Yeah, and so do pay attention to the miniature aspect of this and the editing in terms of switching from live action to miniatures. It's really, really good. So I'm going to play the clip, and then after that, I'll play the one without audio. And that was the one without audio. So
I was going to say, there's no audio. Have the one without audio?
Oh my God! Give me a second.
I just play it without audio. It's fine.
No. I got audio. Okay. Hey, I edited the clip with audio. Okay, I edited the clip with audio. I took time to edit. This is gonna stay. All right. Okay. Listen, these things takes time. Okay. Boom. I have it. Boom, boom. There it is.
Broke into the wrong goddamn rec room, didn't you, you bastard?
I love her reaction, man. It's like, this is my husband. I fucking love him.
That might be the most American scene ever, by the way.
Yeah, that's every gun nut's wet dream.
So a lot of people always point to the Predator shootout scene as the best shooting gun porn. I think this is better because of the slow reveal that they have a wall of preloaded guns.
Yeah,
well, also it's
These guys are prepared, man. They're freaking prepared.
Yeah, exactly. It's their personal guns, and it's the idea that every gun nut who owns a shitload of guns secretly would love an excuse to use all the guns for a reason.
Yeah, once, true.
And a justifiable reason. There's no gray area here. Like, that's a giant animal. You almost feel sorry for the graboid in this scene. You're like, poor bastard.
Dude,
I just want to eat and live, and you're just killing me, guys.
Because most of the graboids die pretty instantly. Either getting blown up or total concussion or falling off a cliff. This is the only one that suffers. Please, you're hurting me.
I think the best gun that they choose, at least before the elephant rifle, is she fires a fire gun.
Let me play the one without audio so you can unmute yourself. All right, there we go.
Yeah, so she obviously it's one of the last ones, but right here. So they start shooting. Yeah, they just start blasting, and you hear that it sounds like they're gonna die. So
yeah. That was a full scale.
Also, how real that thing looks.
It's that right there is what makes it great.
Dude, it's funny. It's hilarious.
Like I said, I don't know if guns crazy good, but she grabs what looks like an M4 carbine. I think that's what that is.
Yeah.
He's got an AR-15. It looks like.
Oh, and this is a great match shot to miniature. Boom.
Yeah. That's great. She's just kimboing blocks.
Ow.
Boom.
That poor
Hey, Boosh, what's up, brother? I can't highlight your comment while the clip's going on, but I see you.
He just gives up. And
then it's like they're turned on by it. They're like if the
last
situation
thing
was different.
Oh yeah,
she's
ready to
leave
go
the house
right
immediately. They were going to the bedroom right after that. Yeah.
Oh hell yeah, dude.
Well,
for sure.
the last thing you hear as a dying sandworm is like the laughter of your murderers. You know, you know, it's like God.
Enzo, was it you earlier or no? Maybe it was Tar who mentioned the gun safety. This is actually a great example. Right in this, he has removed his hand from the trigger. It's laying on the side. She still has her finger on the trigger, and she's not intending to shoot right this minute. So it's like one of them actually took it seriously. The other one was Reba McEntire.
Well, Reba's got this great, like, I can't believe what I'm looking at scene, you know, even though you've been warned about it and you know it's there. Like when you finally see the thing, you're like, good God. It's just so good. And yeah, like I said, you know, just as like, of course, it's an excuse to use all your guns finally. Yay, you know, secret celebration.
Yeah, it just doesn't go down by typical guns that they first use. It's like they try fucking everything to bring that fucker down.
What is it?
Pulls out the elephant gun.
Caliber. Let's see. Like, what is that? I don't even know. I've always known that elephant guns have these giant fucking bullets, but I don't know what they are exactly.
Elephant gun bullets.
Yeah, but I'm saying like what caliber they are.
Probably elephant gun size.
I'm no.
Probably some huge ass number. It's like
375 H&H Magnum is what that's called. Or in this, or a 577 Nitro Express is another one. So those are it's
like bra cup sizes, you know, with HH. You're like, what? Oh my God.
Well, then there's actually one that they're probably using there's actually several styles. 84 caliber muzzle loader.
Yeah,
so that's
you have it on screen over there.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you know what a 44 looks like, right? Or a 35.
Yeah, 44 is about like that like, wide by about that long. So it's about like an inch like a 44 is about an inch diameter by about 2.5 inches long. So a 84, you're almost doubling it.
Twice
it's like a 2-inch diameter and like 4 or 5 inches long.
Jesus.
And that was great in the sequel, where he developed his own gun for killing graboids. Yep. And it's basically like a new type of elephant gun. And he's like, he tells Fred Ward, Earl, he's like, make sure you press up on it hard or it'll break your collarbone, you know?
Yeah. And more importantly, he keeps that dead graboid as his trophy, mounted on his wall.
Oh yeah, that's such a great shot in the second one when he gets the phone call and his wife's left him and he's like just sitting in the lazy boy with like 5 o'clock shadow and snacks, Cheetos everywhere. And yeah, they do the big pan where you see like his animals trophies, like a couple deer, and then this huge graboid right at the spot where it burst through that wall. So amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. And yeah, Bert's one bad motherfucker, man.
Yes, that's 2 graboids down. There's 2 left, but little do they know is that the rest of the people back in Perfection, they started to realize that the difference between rocks and houses is that houses can be breaking down, and those 2 graboids are slowly breaking down the foundations.
Yeah, American house is going to be broken down, man.
Well, they would have stone. I mean, I'm not sure. I guess maybe these don't have stone foundations.
No, because you can look at the one that the medic the doctors were building. That shit was entirely out of drywall. Mm-hmm. That's what you guys use.
Yeah, but there's still a stone foundation underneath it usually.
Maybe it's probably so old that the foundation is
yeah. Well, also I guess stone foundations are still made of brick, so they have weak points as opposed to a solid piece of rock like a mountain. I mean, there's a lot of suspension of disbelief of giant worms coming through the ground. So
yeah. Well, that's why it's great that they have a big beak-like head, because they could break through, harder material. Like they probably could break through a layer of asphalt, or you need like at least a couple feet of concrete, for them to be stopped in their tracks.
This particular shot leads me to believe they don't really have much of a foundation there because there's not much there holding it down. It's probably just cornerstones on these ones, which
shitty shack.
It's a shack. So there's probably just 4 cornerstones holding it down, so that way a tornado can't pick it up.
Welcome
but other
to
than
Shitty
that,
Market. Take your order, please. Shitty Market. Video rental.
Boosh, this is true. Yeah, American. I don't know what the fuck you guys make, but if I punch my wall, this shit is concrete. It's my wrist that's breaking. It's not my wall that's breaking.
Yeah, well,
American houses are weird as fuck, man.
we
I
have
don't know what you
300
guys
million
do.
people and growing. We need to build a lot of houses. If we did every one out of concrete, people would be living on the street for an extended period of time, which already happens.
Dude, just
Yeah,
build out of concrete, man.
The
It
inside of
lasts
your walls
How
are
much
made out
more
of paper,
expensive
bro.
that is?
It lasts way longer.
Yes,
It's less likely to burn, less likely to be whisked away
No,
by a tornado.
There's a lot of drywall that's fire retardant, technically.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's still weird to me, man. Come to Europe, dude. Come to France. You'll see some real architecture over here. Real
We
solid
don't live in
walls.
castles, all right? We live in stone castles, buddy.
I just want to point out that Uninspired is from Ghana too, so he's seen some real weird architecture out there at one point.
Yeah, dude. Hey,
house
over
was made
there,
out of
houses are
bricks.
made out of concrete over there. Yep. Houses are made out of
My
concrete.
house
over
was
there.
built in the 50s, okay? It's made out of bricks.
Oh.
That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah, apparently, Florida, according to Bush, Florida does pylon foundations and concrete walls.
Nice.
Yeah,
Alright,
I mean,
W's
it
Florida.
depends on where you live too, because
Yeah.
obviously, for instance, if you're in lower Louisiana, like near New Orleans, you can't really have any foundations because you're below sea level. It would drag you down into the water.
Can we talk about? I'm just noticing this. Can we talk about the stunt
The
double?
stunt
on top
double,
of the
yeah.
RV?
That's why I took the screen grab, dude. That's why I took the screen grab because it's like you can clearly tell
Looks
us the
like a-
stunt double there for the role.
looks like a Dick Tracy villain all of a sudden.
It's got a nice square jaw.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it kind of looks like Lance a bit, man.
Lance. Yeah, like a young Lance. Yeah, I can see it. I can see it with the hat.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to call up Lance right now and be like, hey, did you do some spot work as a stuntman in 1990 for
Tremors.
Universal?
And yeah, of course, he picks his.
Knowing Lance, he knows that guy. Knowing him, he's like, oh, no, I know that guy, though. I could get him on the phone.
He interviewed Gail Ann Hurd, who produced this movie.
Yeah, she did.
Oh, yeah, I
brings
forgot
it
about
up all
that,
the
yeah.
time.
Yeah, of course.
And he interviewed Ron Underwood, the director of this movie, before that.
He
yes.
did. Yep, he did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
man.
told him to ask Ron Underwood what he would get at a Mexican food place. If we went to go get margaritas, what would he eat?
I don't know.
Chimichanga.
I don't know. What would I get? I'd probably get
Chimichanga with steak and the hottest sauce that they have. That's my go-to. The
some-
margarita.
It's a good icebreaker question.
I don't know, man.
If I'm not super hungry, I'll just get whatever their taco trio is. Usually it's like one chicken, one
I
steak.
get the chili relleno. Chili relleno is my go-to.
That's pretty
man.
good, too.
Yummy.
Dude, you know what pisses me off here in France is that
You can't get a taco?
especially where I live. There's no fucking Mexican restaurants. It's horrendous.
You're in
That's what I'm
France.
saying, like,
you're
if
nowhere
I-
near. You're
yeah,
nowhere near Mexico.
Yeah, but still, come
If
on,
I
man.
lived- Dude, I could move to France and open up a fucking taco truck and bank. Okay.
Oh, dude, you
Make
would
make your own
definitely make
tortillas?
bank, dude. There's no
Yeah.
one, at least in my town, if good business investment, man. In the towns around me, south of France, southeast of France, you guys
just
open
having
up
this
a
funny
Mexican
thought.
restaurant, man.
I'm just having this funny thought of like how France would react if all of a sudden just hundreds of thousands of Mexicans showed up at their border. Like,
Ah,
how'd
we'd
you
be
even
chilling,
get
man.
here?
We'd be chilling. We'd be
Like,
chilling.
but like it's more like how'd you even get here?
We have a
Same
lot
way
of
the other- the
Latin
same way the
American
other
people.
immigrants get there. They are flown there by corporate entities and BlackRock and government officials.
Or California kicked them out.
It's a good way to tell how the quality of a Mexican restaurant is their tamales, though. That's a really good way because
True.
a bad tamale just is a spongy mess. A good one has some good texture to it. So that's one of the first
Well,
things you
that's-
should always order.
But that's why they give you the complimentary salsa and like maybe some beans, some refried beans, because you try those and you're like, oh, the salsa's good. This restaurant's going to be good. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Tamales.
I'm telling you,
Tamales,
that
man, the
is
tamales-
a good. Yeah, go ahead.
Tamales got to like fall right out of the wrap, out of the corn husk.
Yeah,
they got to slide
you can
out.
tell.
You know?
There's certain dishes that you can order at certain. Like I've always said, a good way to tell the quality of a diner is through its meatloaf. If it just tastes bland and crappy, if they took the time to actually season the meat and stuff, you're like, okay, they actually care. Same thing with tamales.
I'm just
If it's
picturing
a-
dark hour. Like before I order anything, can I sample the meatloaf, please? Can I have
Bring me one bite of the meatloaf on like one of those small forks, please.
Yeah. I mean, tamales, man. Why do Mexicans eat tamales on Christmas? So they have
Because
something
it's
to
fucking
unwrap.
delicious. Ah, you motherfucker.
I'm telling you, if you unwrap it and it's difficult to unwrap and it's a spongy mess with little flavor, you're in a bad Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, you don't want it sticky.
Yeah,
Dude, fuck tamales, dude. I started making tamale casserole. You make it like a big shepherd's pie, basically, with the tamale batter on top. Oh,
now I'm getting hungry. I didn't
Anyway,
eat lunch. I might end up having to break out that.
This is why I always ask
This
people
bar.
what their favorite Mexican food is. This is why I always do that, because it's a good combo. It's fine.
But I did mention tequila through margarita. But as per tradition, Mexico has been announced. So.
Oh, really? Is that a tradition? I should bring up Mexico more often then.
Hell yeah, dude.
On Two Hoes, if Mexico is mentioned, tequila is consumed. Espolon Cristiano.
Cool. All right. Well, of course, Nestor or maybe his stunt double, we don't know who gets sucked into the ground through the tire.
Yeah.
What a way to go, man. Such a horrendous death. And now, of course, all the other cars, they're getting sucked into the ground, so limiting the amount of transportation. They also
this is where the movie kind of takes a turn where it almost seems like the
repetitive.
Well, but the graboids, it becomes a little repetitive because they keep showing them attack the vehicles and bust the wheels and stuff. But the graboids have kind of learned how humans work and start using it against them. And this is the second act of Alien phase of the movie, so to say, where it starts, anticipating their actions. They start anticipating. I should say there's more than one. So.
Yeah, all the characters are at a low point. There's like nowhere to go. Yeah. Like these graboids they're increasingly getting more intelligent as they try to navigate around to find their food source. And so the big plan is Val and Earl have to
Dead gamer.
They have to grab the cat. They have to grab the cat and drag something with them to save everybody.
Madcap, has anyone ever told you sound like Kurtosis? It just clicked that you guys have very similar voices and speaking patterns. I was like, where have I heard this voice before? I've never streamed with him. You have a very similar speaking pattern to Kurtosis.
Well, I'd be disappointing you to say I've just heard of this name right now.
Oh, okay. Well, I think you're actually Kurtosis just in disguise. I'm convinced. I'm gonna go talk to him right now. This was just your way of getting back on the show. Yeah. You do have a very similar speaking pattern to him though, and the whole time I've been like, where do I know this guy's voice from? And it just clicked just now because I mentioned Alien and he was on the Alien stream. That's how I connected it.
Well, if that's a compliment, I really appreciate that.
Oh, no, the Kurtosis is great. He has some of the best videos you'll ever see on like Fallout and stuff. So yeah, he's fantastic.
Yeah, I guess I should follow suit then.
We were watching,
but yeah,
we were watching. I would say we were watching.
Sorry, go ahead.
Now, say we were watching Santa with muscles, and I realized in the middle of that movie that Donna's dad from that '70s show totally reminds me of Dark Hour, and I was like, "Oh, dude,
yeah, I just got to grow out a fro, and gain like 40 pounds, and I'll be Donna's dad."
So this is a funny shot here. They're pitching a plan to grab the cat and drag that little trailer you see on the left, so they can get everybody out of perfection. And I love here is that like, oh wait, go back.
Go ahead.
I love here like they think that the cat's close, but then it pans out and is far away than you expect. So that's a really
it's a good like 1,000 feet away. So it's not it's not just a short walk. It's a full sprint for probably about a minute.
Yeah, this is why the wide shots are so great because they really show that isolation, And
they can't just like go out there for a simple walk because otherwise, graboid will get them. So they need to grab something. They need to use something to distract it, and so they try to get chains like little. I don't know what it is. It's like a cart or something.
It's so they say it's basically a hollowed out, rusted out what is it, flatbed from a 18-wheeler. They've taken, it's just the bottom portion essentially. And
oh no, not
I
the
think
trailer. I mean like what they use to distract the graboid. It's like a
Oh,
little,
it's a little
it's
it's a little
it's a
tractor.
It's like a one that you would use for like your yard work or something.
Wait,
yeah.
there it is. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Mahindra missed the opportunity here to have that as their sponsor or their.
Oh, but here's a little good character beat between Val and Earl. So Earl, Val wants to go out there,
Right.
And then they pitch rock paper scissors.
I'm
They rock, paper,
faster. Yeah,
scissors.
Val's faster.
Yeah,
Of course.
and Val loses. So in his head, he thinks, "Damn, I lost. So I should go out there." I'm like, "No, Earl won." So Earl's volunteering to go out there. But then when they get that tractor moving, Val guts Earl and then just goes out there instead.
Yep.
Which is
There's absolutely no way that Earl would have made it. By the way, like
No.
there's no way in hell because he's
Earl would
older,
have definitely
slower.
died, dude. And plus, they established the Val is faster when he's running to save Mindy. So that dude was moving. And
Well, I think Earl, even though Earl's not faster, Earl's older. So his idea is like, if I die, it's less of a loss kind of thing, you know?
If I die, I die.
if he dies,
He's like, I've been wanting to get out of this town since the beginning of the movie. It's one way or the other, damn it.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I like the screen grab because you can actually tell like whoever is I guess Kevin Bacon's stunt double just fully committed to that role. It's like boom. Yep.
Yeah, he took a full belly flop on that one.
Oh yeah.
Face
And
plant.
so they go, and of course he manages
The
to get there.
tractor flips over, and so the trap doesn't. Oh, the distraction falls short, and
Yep.
the graboids are pursuing Val. And Wanda, out of desperation, just tells Val to like stay still, don't move. And
It works.
death is right below his feet as a tongue tries to like work its way around Val. And now everybody back in perfection has to make noise to distract the graboid. But
Yeah, they're making vibrations.
yeah, but the
There it is.
graboid is not gonna be fooled that easy because it's its food. It's right there, so that's why the tongue right here. You see that puppet? It's like moving around, see if it feels like something moving, and then Wanda gets the bright idea to kick the pie from the water tower, and it's a good enough sound to lure the graboid over there.
See, this is where I'm like, I accept it, but the graboid could have definitely eaten him for the vibrations alone. You know.
Well, the tension
Compared
works
to
well
what we
because like
established.
he just plants his foot and then the tongue just like gets frantic
Mm-mm-mm.
because it knows it's right there. He's right there.
No, I think the tension works well. I just think that with what we've seen before of the graboids, it's like they would have definitely packed his ass up in a second, instantly. Nestor didn't have that privilege. Nestor wasn't even on the ground. He just sat down on the wheel, and it got to him.
Mhm.
So Valentine should be dead, in my opinion. But still doesn't take away that it's a good movie. So yeah, I will accept. I'll give it that. Okay, I can forgive.
Luke, we had a whole clip for that. Don't worry. If you after this stream's over, if you rewind, we had a whole clip about her taking her pants off. We didn't even really talk. Honestly, we didn't even really talk about the fact that they're all pretty respectful about it. Like, they're obviously they know she's in pain, and they give her pants immediately after she's cleaned up. Like, they don't really. It's like sexualized in the way that they're trying to break down her barrier of being like a tomboy. But the characters in World treat it very seriously because of the injuries and stuff. So it's really well done. I just wanted to mention that. We never got to say that.
And so he manages to get the cat working. He manages to get it hooked up, and he saves Rhonda. And they go and pick up everyone. And the last person that they have to pick up is, of course, Bert and his wife. And so they're making, just as you do, just homemade pipe bombs, chilling. He has all the ingredients to do so. And so
household items, he says. He says it's household ingredients.
Well, technically, yes.
Proper proportions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But they show it like a little bit earlier when they're calling it on the radio. Their house is significantly far away from the rest of the town.
Yep.
Like, in
Really
comparison,
far.
like, it's like a good half mile away from the rest of the town. So
It's really far.
Bert is like an eccentric, maybe he's an eccentric millionaire, but the idea that he wants to live, like he kind of like looks down on the town, from up above, he's got that kind of vibe. I don't know. He's like self-appointed sheriff of town,
Well, it's when he's leaving the place where he says, "Oh yeah, what is it? 2 years worth of water, self-sustaining and stuff like that."
And he had a year worth of gasoline too. He said,
"Yeah,
weird because gasoline doesn't eventually it starts to gelatinize and stuff." But
so yeah, you can tell that he was proud, and he was probably a doomsday prepper, honestly. And he just
100%. Yeah, he is a doomsday prepper. Nobody with a basement full of 900 guns is not a doomsday prepper.
Nobody with 5 years worth of MREs is like,
There's a guy. There's like I forget his name. He's like a Russian guy who would get MREs from all different countries and try them.
That must be cool.
Yeah. He was on YouTube for a while, and then I eventually.
Isn't it FPS Russia or something like that?
No, FPS Russia is not really Russian. He's a guy pretending to be Russian. This was an actual Russian guy who was getting MREs from around the world, and he would like compare them. He'd get like ones from Spain, Egypt, like random countries, and be like, "Oh, I wonder what's in this one," and you would like see the regionalization of them.
That's pretty cool, actually. Yeah, I might actually look that up. Yeah, that's
I'll see if I can find it. I see if I can find it what his name was.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, no, it was the videos weren't long. I mean, but it was him testing that. Like, obviously, if he opened it up and it looked like it was rotten, he wouldn't eat it. But most of the time, it was freeze dried shit anyway, so it lasts 150 years. Like,
yeah. So of course, they managed to pick up Bert, his wife. They all go there. There's Melvin who's demanding a gun.
Literally, the guy's name is Crazy Russian Hacker.
Oh,
that's his name.
All right, I'll check it out later. I've written it down.
You can get him on the show at some point. Be like, hey, you want to talk about MREs on like?
You want to take some MREs for us? It's like, sure, why not?
Yeah, we're doing Tremors 2. I want you to come and talk about MREs with us.
Actually, he might be currently fighting in the Ukraine.
I love Miguel holding the giant elephant gun. It's like he doesn't know what to do with this. But also, Bert constantly ammo checking his guns when he hands them off and grabs them and stuff. Every time the gun's out of his position and he gets it, like first he does check if it's got bullets.
Boosh actually said it in the chat. I didn't realize this. I was looking down. I'm sorry, brother. I didn't realize that you said that.
Yeah. Now, of course, while they're traversing this area, they see the graboids doing some weird shit, but it's far off in the distance, so they don't really care.
Again, this is kind of why I don't really buy into the fact that the movie gets repetitive, because it does a good job of keeping it up. Because they're on the roof for a while, and then that doesn't work, so then they get in the vehicle and they're on the move. But like you said, it's like a lot of like they can't stop at any spot, otherwise the graboids will get them. They're trying constantly. So what do? They dig a trap. So like it's constantly the stakes constantly rising, the plot kind of end goal constantly changing. It's like a game of chess, where there's moves and counter moves between the humans and the graboids, and it's whoever's gonna who's gonna win the battle of wits, really.
Yeah. So
like I was saying before, they're clearly learning patterns. Like this is a prime example. They figured out how vehicles work and set a trap for it.
Yeah, I mean, it would be because like social animals tend to be more intelligent, and the fact that these graboids kind of are like a family, they travel around in a pack, which kind of makes it sad that they all get killed. But I mean, like they're social creatures and they have some kind of form of communicating with each other, which is interesting.
Yep, and so now at this point they've set up the trap. Everything is
no, they're stuck. Yeah.
Yep. They're really stuck. Yeah. Boom. He brings out the Uzi, the revolver.
Yeah.
It's a 38 special. That's one of my
Which we don't really do much because Bert tried with the elephant gun and it still couldn't cut through dirt.
Yep. Couldn't.
No, sand is pretty much the ultimate stopping power thing because of the way it's that and water will slow down bullets very quickly.
Water.
It's just because it surrounds it and takes away all the.
But you gotta defend yourself. And then Bert introduces his pipe bomb, which wasn't really meant to kill graboids, but the explosion is so loud that it scares
Distract.
away the graboids.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Well,
they
that's the
can
other
get
thing
to
that's
the
great
rocks
is
that are
that
nearby.
we've moved past the gun porn and now we're into like the explosions. Like the movie starts off with like people getting pulled under the ground and people getting eaten and then gunshots and now we've got just bombs going off all the time. This is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I do appreciate that all of the pipe bombs also act like actual pipe bombs. They don't have flames. They're just an explosion. It's like that's one of my biggest pet peeves with like C4 in movies and stuff.
Yeah,
they'll set it and there'll just be this big wave of flame and fireball and all this shit. And really all it is just 1 second it's there and the next second it's gone and everything around it is also gone. Yeah, it's the only way that you get those kind of flames is if it's near something that's like an accelerant, like gasoline or something. It's not going to happen just with pure oxygen. You get a little tiny explosion near the detonator because that's what it needs to do to get it to go. But once you won't see that, it's too small and quick.
Yeah, kind of what Boosh is saying in the comments, like talking about like, there's that part of the mountain where they're like, theorizing what they are. And Kevin Bacon thinks, they're genetic engineered. Big surprise for the Russians. Government built them. The lady Rhonda, she says, nothing like them in the fossil record, so they must predate the fossil record. And Fred Ward, Earl's character, thinks they're aliens from outer space. When in the sequel, we do find out that Rhonda was correct. They're actually Precambrian life forms that have been dormant for some.
They probably just came
time.
from the Appalachian Mountains, to be honest, man. Everything weird just comes from there.
Yeah, I mean, Red Letter Media, they pointed this out. Like the graboids are essentially like some dinosaur species that was lucky enough to survive extinction. It just happens to live out here for this long.
It's because they live underground. Yeah, that's
exactly.
a good way to survive.
Yeah,
Precambrian means they predate dinosaurs. That's like part 2. You mean they're like older than dinosaurs? Way is what she says.
Yeah, Cambrian is like barely multi-cell organisms a lot of the time. It's unlike fish and shit. It's not really the dinosaurs weren't until the Cretaceous period is really when dinosaurs became it's funny because it's called Jurassic Park, but it really should be like Cretaceous Park.
Cretaceous Park.
Yeah, I got that same notion too.
Yeah.
Anyways, Bird launches a bomb, scares the graboid away. So now their next plan of action is to go to those nearby boulders to.
And he gives a gun to Melvin too.
Yeah. So pretty much all that needs to happen is Bird has to launch another bomb to scare the 2 graboids away, and then they gotta make haste. They gotta give chase and head to those rocks. And Melvin to his joy gets a gun from Bert, and as they go out there, Melvin thinks that he could shoot one from a distance, and then the gun isn't even loaded.
Dude, look at Bert's face, man. When Melvin's like, "Yeah, got you to move, didn't you?" It's like, all right.
But like he gives him an unloaded gun, and then Melvin gives him back the gun that he unloaded. And what does he do? He still checks to see if it's still unloaded. He's that kind of guy.
Yeah. It's a habit,
man. Yep.
Well, it's a habit. You eventually, if you do it enough times, you're just going to do it. I mean, that's a standard thing a lot of people do with their doors. It's like you literally will lock it and then check if it's locked. It's just because it's a habit. You don't even realize you're doing it.
And now there's 9 left. That's it.
Imagine if they did all like starve to death on these boulders. Like, what is what a head scratcher.
Well, they probably eat the
the
kid first. That's for sure.
Oh God, they start eating each other. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. Oh my God,
they probably eat the kid first because the kid would. No, actually, the first person to go would probably be Miguel. They probably eat him. Then it would be
they would 100% kill Melvin and eat him from years of frustration and
yeah. They're not. No, you don't even eat him. No. You throw Melvin to the graboids and I don't know, try to make a run for it or something. I don't know.
Yeah, well, he's clearly susceptible to being tricked because he just thought that an unloaded gun was fine. He didn't even notice that it's probably much lighter than it would be. I mean, I don't know.
Well, he's probably never held a gun, too.
Who knows? He lives out in the middle of nowhere.
Stupid Melvin.
You just tell him, "Oh no, I know for a fact that there's they can't get over there. You run that way," and then he runs that way, and everyone else goes the other way. There you go.
You guys want to know something kind of funny about part 3? Melvin is like he's like a hot shot.
He's a real
investor.
estate mogul.
Yeah, he's trying to turn the town, kind of build on the town, and Bert Gummer uses the graboids as an endangered species as an excuse not to. But he's like a slimy asshole when he grows up too. And yeah, part 3 is great because they got like most of the cast comes back for part 3, which is funny.
That's pretty cool.
Kevin Bacon here is really suggestively positioned in this particular still shot.
Power stance. Dominant move.
He definitely politicked for that particular shot. It's like, hey, look, I want my crotch to be essentially center in the
frame.
But this is great because this is where Bert is like kind of being like, kind of a little. They've probably been on the rock for an hour or two, and he's already saying,
he's already on the edge.
I'm not starving to death. I'm just gonna light one of these up and go out and take me down, and
Bush. We actually talked about that a little bit earlier. That Bert has the actor clearly went.
No, don't worry. So the slides are done, so I'm checking.
You're switching slide rail.
Yeah,
okay.
Second back.
We mentioned that you could tell who went through it because he never has his finger on the trigger, whereas Earl, there's a scene where he's holding the gun directly toward Kevin Bacon's head with the finger on the trigger.
Yep.
Yeah. But like I said, Bert fantasizing about killing himself with dynamite, like that gives Earl the idea. Should we go fishing? And this becomes the mechanism with how you hunt graboids in all the sequels. Yep. Like you put dynamite on like a little toy car and have the graboid grab it, and then you electric charge like C4, blow them up. It's pretty, like I said, it kind of nerfs them,
Yeah, it's like it's kind of an easy way to get rid of them. But I do like the aspect that they bring back the is what you call Stumpy. That's what you called him.
Yeah, Stumpy. Yeah, so Stumpy. One graboid falls for the trap. It actually blows up. So their trap was actually successful for one graboid. But the mainstay villain of the movie, Stumpy, isn't exactly dumb as they would expect because look at that gorgeous gore.
I love it's like bubbling,
Yes,
I was trying to figure out when I was looking at it, like what they used. The only thing I could come up with was it looks like pumpkin innards.
Probably.
Yeah, pumpkin innards and a lot of and like I said, a lot of tomato sauce.
Like I said, it's it looks like Campbell's soup. It's that color, but that's why a lot of these movies kind of avoid the R rating. Because imagine if this was like visceral, like red gore, like, that would be awesome. But it would be R rating for sure. The fact that
there you go. According to Bush, it was filled with butternut squash. So that's pretty close to pumpkin. So I was
that is a yummy graboid.
Oh.
Butternut squash is delicious.
The color is so nice too. It's nice.
Yeah, and it's a good contrast with all the browns that you get in this movie's color palette, the earthy tones. Because even the blood is kind of like an earthy color, this orange. It's a little saturated, but still.
Bush
says those weird sacks, those clear sacks in that pile.
Those are
definitely inflated condoms. That's what those are. That's what that is.
Yeah, they look very balloonish.
It's like slime. It's like slime with air coming out of it. It's like, ew, gross.
Yeah, that's a good theory. What that could be.
There you go. Amelia says Mexican food after you've eaten it. All right.
Yeah, definitely a bad tamale. Maybe and there's possibly some shitty meatloaf from a diner over there. Just to go back to.
Hell yeah, I would neo-hippie, man. It's probably considered a delicacy somewhere.
What else is great is they've already established. Well, they've already established, like with the pogo stick and some other things, that these graboids can spit out things they don't like and launch them. Yep. So that's why when it does this later with this pipe bomb, you're like, oh no. Like this is
and it falls on the sack of all the other pipe bombs, like everything just blows. Yeah. All right.
And Val has the one pipe bomb left.
Right, yep, exactly. And like how rapid, like we were at the halfway point when the graboids have invaded town, and like it's only been like 40 something minutes, 30 minutes, and now we're already at the final showdown with the final graboid.
Yep.
And it's one of these things where you got to think on your feet because the graboids aren't waiting. They want to eat you now. So this plot is pretty, it's not breakneck speed because, like I said, there's like, there are moments of tension and then decompress and then tension and decompress, but like the stakes are constantly rising. It's constantly moving forward. It doesn't slow down. It's not slow, it takes such good use of its 90-minute runtime.
Yeah, and of course, at this point, so when everything goes foobar, you have Rhonda, Earl, and Valentine are main characters who get separated. Well, they run away actually, so that they don't get blown up. And when they're running back, yeah, they have the last graboid that's here. And ladies and gentlemen in the chat, F for Stumpy, the last graboid. Now I will play the clip.
For Christ's sake, Val. I'm gonna go for it. Go for what? Yeah. Ah! What the hell are you doing? I got a goddamn plan! This better be one hell of a great plan! Get ready! Come on, come on, come on, come on! Can you fly, you sucker?
Can you fly?
You fly.
All of a sudden, I
No,
want
it
to grill
cannot.
cheese with some tomato soup. I don't know why.
Well, this movie was going to have an R rating, which is why they say things like "mother humper" and
Yeah.
"you fly, you sucker." But one thing, this is a bit of a tangent. It's funny how you keep saying like, you'll play a clip before you play a clip. You're like, press F for this person that's about to die. But it's funny because like if the clip were somehow like too long and it got the stream taken down, people would be putting F in the chat. And you think that they're talking about
Kill the stream.
So
Yep.
I don't think that's
It's
a good
happened to us a
idea.
couple times relatively recently. Sometimes,
Right.
like things that we got away with about a year and a half ago, we can't as much anymore. It's getting
It's weird.
Certain ones,
But,
certain companies are tightening up
Dicks.
on their stuff.
Yeah, but also, back to the whole setups payoffs thing, like that whole, there's a constant back and forth where, Fred Ward's character is always telling, Kevin Bacon's character, like, hey, man, you don't think ahead, it's Monday and I'm over here thinking about Wednesday,
Yep.
you don't have a plan. And then later when they're on the boulders, he's like, let's make a run for it. He's like, no, running for it isn't a plan. That's what you do when the plan falls apart. And then here we are. He's like, at the final end, he's like, throw the bomb. He's like, no, I'm going to run for it. He's like, why? He's like, because I have a plan. The plan is running for it to get to this cliff, which is like what we said. This is where the movie starts. This
It all
same
comes
cliff,
full
this
circle.
same moment. Yeah. And dude, it's just great. It's just great writing. This movie has no right having such a tight script, being a stupid monster movie about killer worms, and yet the script, like I said, it's not about the graboids. Like that's the problem the sequels have. They focus on the graboids. It's not about the graboids. It's about the characters. It's about the the arcs and the writing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just
why this movie
Amelia
is
said it. I said it briefly. I love his belt buckle, the heart with. I can't tell what's in the middle of it, but it's a good belt buckle.
Valentine, man. That's it.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. It makes sense. It's a heart. I can't quite see what's in the middle, but it definitely makes sense with his name.
Yep, of course.
And I wouldn't be shocked to kind of piggyback on what Enzo said. I wouldn't be shocked if it ended up being as tight of a script as it is out of necessity because of the restricted budget. They probably had other stuff that they just kept cutting.
I think it's the two guys who wrote this movie are a great team. They wrote the Short Circuit movies, and when Short Circuit came out, they also did Batteries Not Included. They also did Ghost Dad. So but with
Neil
the Short
it's
Circuit,
between 6 and 10 million. That was the budget.
Yeah, so it's 6.4 to 10 million. So we just kind of estimated 8. Because there's back then budgets were a little not quite as well documented because they weren't nearly as big, so people didn't care quite as much if if you went 10% above your budget, it wasn't like you weren't going $35 million over budget,
right? Well, this thing, shooting outdoors and, the sandworms constantly malfunctioning because dirt in the mechanisms, and it snowed on the first day of shooting, so there's like, they were kind of the fact that this is all filmed outdoors, it gives it that majesty, but also, it gives it that realism. Also, it's a good send up to traditional monster movies, which are normally at night. You see all the monsters in full daytime, total lighting. It's so great. But but yeah, as far as what was I saying before the budget? Talking about, oh God, it'll come back to me.
If I could add a little tangent here, like this really pays off how intelligently written Val has become throughout this whole movie. And it seems with every other character here too, because and this is where I'm gonna be comparing this to A Quiet Place now. When this is the first time they encounter these things, and they tried so hard to think their way out of this situation. Whenever you think it might go their way, the movie throws a curveball, whether it be the malfunctioning soda machine that unfortunately cost the life of Chang. The graboids
Pepsi
working
machine.
up to, the graboids are working up to the houses and the foundations to get their food, or the big trap with the tractor and the trailer, and now here with the pipe bombs. He manages to go out of his way to even, and this is like a major risk, because if he would have gone the safe route just by blowing up the bomb right away, then yeah, of course they'd still be dead. They'd be out there in that rock for days or for hours, give or take. It's a desert, of course. But he actually goes for the risk, and he was actually smart about this whole situation, and that's where it finally came through. They finally killed this fucker. And the difference between here and A Quiet Place is that those characters in A Quiet Place have lived in the apocalypse. They acknowledge the existence of these monsters, the death angels, and the dangers that could bring them into their area of safety. But the movie, for some reason, does a lot of bullshit contrivances. They even go as far as be a lot more inconsistent with the monsters, as someone on here pointed out the inconsistency with the graboids. And first off, pull out in the apocalypse, for God's sake. Do not don't introduce a waterfall, because then you just lead on to the question like, why didn't you try the whole birth
living near a waterfall, or going to, I don't know, stay near the waterfall if you know that you're gonna give birth soon? Yep. The Quiet Place is a bit stupid. More than a bit stupid, actually.
Yeah, well, these characters have lived in this situation for so long, and they keep breaking their own rules. The movie has to have them break their own rules in order to prompt tension, in order to prompt these set pieces with those monsters, and it just ultimately falls flat. Whereas here, this is the first time they encountered these creatures, but the situation throws curveballs at them, and of course, a lot of bad shit still happens. But they manage to learn their way around this better than the graboids do.
Yeah, I mean, with A Quiet Place, the thing with modern stupid movies is like they're nonstop, like unrelenting, like they don't let up. So like Prometheus, like you don't realize how stupid it is until the movie's over and you think about it. Whereas The Quiet Place, there's lots of moments where you can literally actively think about what you're watching as you're watching it. So like I remember in the theaters when they're like go to the waterfall and they're like, we could talk around here. My immediate thought is like, why don't you live here? Why don't you live by the waterfall, you idiots? It's like fresh water and like what? But yeah, like you said earlier with Kevin Bacon, like Earl thinks, oh, you threw the dynamite too far. It's like you did that on purpose, to get the thing to torpedo out of the wall. It's all brilliant. But I remember what I was going to bring up about the script writers. They had written Short Circuit and Batteries Not Included. And Short Circuit was a huge hit, and they were like, well, what else you got? Because most script writers have a bottom shelf full of scripts, and then they pulled out like a few of them, and one of the producers was like, this one, like this Land Sharks movie, let's do this one. This looks fun. And yeah, it worked out. It's just what happens when you've got a great writing team. These two guys that are like, they're helping each other. That's why this movie is so well polished and trimmed. It went through several drafts. You can tell.
Of course. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. And it's funny though, because the whole premise of Tremors just started out as like this silly, schlocky B movie, but then they treat it as like an A-tier movie in the writing, in the production, everything. Whereas A Quiet Place tries to be self-important of its own ass, and then it just ends up smelling its own farts and losing the shit. And of course, I would have to bring this back to A Quiet Place. Like, I don't give a fuck if you have like a soundproof system for your baby. Babies cry. Baby will always cry. So by having a baby in that situation, you're automatically fucked. No way around it. You're fucked.
Yep.
And the sequel really
actually,
shows that.
This movie and the fact you bring up A Quiet Place kind of worth. So I recently found out. So there's apparently somewhere in the, I have to look up exactly where, but it's the quietest room in the world. Like they've structured it so it's structured so that way no sound reverberates anywhere. It has like it's scientifically engineered to be the quietest place possible.
Yeah, it's in some college or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and it apparently like drives you crazy if you're in that much silence. Because you don't realize that your body is noisy. You know, every time you make a movement, your skin is like, you know, making noises like on itself, and you know your bones will creak. But you're surrounded by ambient noise at all times. So apparently, the longest someone can really hang out in that room is like a half hour, and you start to like hallucinate and go crazy. I'll look up exactly where
I heard about that story. Yeah, I remember that.
Cool.
But yeah, they've saved the day. Our heroes have saved the day. Now, I do wish that we had at least one scene with the rest of our characters, because we only have we can see them in the background, of course, with some police officers. But I just wish that we had like one scene with the remaining survivors.
I get that, 'cause they're all great characters. But I do like now that you screen grab this here is like. Well, I mean, we all know this when we saw this. Like, the foundations are being repaired. Like, everyone's going back to their usual stuff. But yeah, we got outside help as everyone's trying to explain the whole situation. And then, you have your final farewell.
Romantic farewell.
Or is it a farewell?
Rhonda.
Yeah.
Well, this is also like before the news reporters start showing up, because like that's the thing is like Chang was right. Like these things are going to put everybody on the map. These things are a big deal. Like these are kind of money celebrity makers. Like in all the sequels, like they're all known as the people that killed graboids. That they're graboid hunters. That's like
there's all this
like
talk
their claim to fame.
There's all this talk of publicity whether it's like tabloids or National Geographic.
They get on the cover of People magazine or some shit.
Yeah,
these two.
It's a big discovery for everybody, and they got the proof to back it up because they got a couple dead graboids.
Yep. The government
Minneapolis is where it is, by the way.
Oh,
Minneapolis is where the So, and apparently for a private hour, it's $400. But they don't suggest anything over, as Neo Hippie said, 20 minutes, because it starts to basically your ears adjust to the lack of a sound, and every time you move, it echoes in your head. Basically, It's apparently a very sound deprivation at that level, because I think it said it was minus 24 decibels is the average or something like that, and then so it's less than no noise, I guess.
All right. Awesome. Well, that would actually be cool to check out. I'd probably ask them and be like, "Hey, man, if I slip you 100, could you go 25 minutes?" Like, all right, we'll see.
I'm sure that people try the record all the time. I wouldn't be shocked if people try the record all the time.
Dude, I'd definitely go in and be like, "Hey, man, I'm gonna do the record today." So
they'd be like, "No, you aren't." that's what they would tell you.
What the fuck you mean?
No, you do beat the record, but they come in, check on you after an hour or two, and you've like clawed your eyes out and stuff.
You're just half dead.
It's like Event Horizon where you got like no eyes, and you're like, "Hello, how are you?" And like,
so of course
it was so quiet. It was so quiet.
Who dare make a sound in my room?
We get our last little pick of Valentine and Earl. Of course, Earl, who's telling Valentine to get his courage and go and ask Rhonda out. And of course, as we said before, he takes his ex-girlfriend's pictures and just throws them in there in his trucks. Like, yep, done with that.
He's immediately over her. He's immediately like moved on to whether that was a fantasy woman or an ex-girlfriend, doesn't matter. He's now got a real viable mating candidate like right in front of him. He's got to take a shot.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny though. There's a little beat where Kevin Bacon is not very confident, but dude, you just fucking outsmarted a giant fucking worm. I think by that point you have all the pussy in the world.
Well, I think it shows that like Val this whole time is kind of more of like a blowhard. You know, he lives out in the middle of nowhere. He works on septic tanks. He's a loser, but he makes himself seem a lot cooler than he is. He's a big playboy in his mind. But of course, when you've got a girl basically begging to get kissed in front of him, he's kind of chickens out. And that's originally how it ended. But of course, like test audience was like, no, he's got to turn around and go kiss her.
Man, they got to do it. They got to lock it in.
They added that in because of test audiences, and it's like so much better. It has to end on the big kiss shot with the camera going up.
Yep, there.
And sweet Reba McEntire.
There it is.
Yeah, Reba does the song, obviously, you know, which is a staple of anything she's ever in. She always sings the song for it. So
yeah, like in the original ending, they literally drive, and then he gets the idea like I should turn around and do it. But here he goes for it when he's supposed to. Like, you know, he chickens out a little bit, but it's like, no, go to her.
Goes for it. Go to her. Yeah, you complete me. It's like, hey, Tyler, the wolf has just appeared. The wolf man, the real wolf man.
Yo.
Yeah, dude, I hope you're doing good. I'm doing fine, man. You've arrived just as we are ending. Look, it's the behind the scenes stills. Boom. So there they are. So these are the scales. Man, they were massive, actually. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
You could totally see the Starship Troopers reference. You know, the
right on the mandibles.
Yep.
Yeah, and there's a lot of desert in this movie too, much like Starship Troopers.
Dude, look at the size of the miniature on the table with the matte painting behind it on the left picture. It's crazy.
Well, I know that's like a cliche to say, but really, like, the setting is a character in itself in this movie. The desert, you know, it's just such a great, unique landscape for movies. Even though a lot of movies are shot out in this desert, out in California, especially in the '90s. But I don't know, it's just a vibe, you know. And it was cool, like it wasn't a Western, set in the 1800s for once. Like we're gonna do a modern movie,
neo-Western, That's what they call the neo-Western nowadays. But yeah. So yeah, these are the four behind the scenes stills that I managed to get. There's a ton of beautiful behind the scenes content about this movie that you can check out on YouTube to watch. It's Tremors is
generally lower budget. Like these lower budget movies are really fun to film, really, because it's like the actors, everybody kind of has to pull a little extra weight, so there's a camaraderie level that you don't really get from the big budget films.
Yeah, they're out in the middle of nowhere, and they had to like build lodging for them, everybody, and like I said, it becomes like a tight-knit community, like a family, whatever the hell. But like everyone's like working together, everyone learns to know each other. Like I said, Kevin Bacon, his wife went into labor, and the whole set's like, Kevin, it's time, The director of photography got engaged to someone and also involved in production. Like during the shooting of the movie, he asked her to marry her on the rock that they hide on for a day. And they're still together. They got kids, it's like,
that's nice.
Families were formed making this movie,
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And it's a big difference between movies nowadays versus movies then, is that Tremors is a project that really didn't have a lot of faith from the studio, but the studio did cater to giving these guys the opportunity to make this movie. And it's a tight-knit production. You got like a lot of good cooks in the kitchen that really came together and made this very wonderful creature feature, whereas movies today, especially with how budgets are compared to stuff like Tremors, is like, it's all $200 million like popcorn flicks, and they all come off as soulless. There's no family unit in those productions. There's no.
They're made on an assembly line,
There's none of
but
that
it's great. Not even talking about
the
the special effects. Like you'd have to spend so much money on, first of all, like the catering. All the actors need to be spoiled with their super, luxurious jetliner trailers, video games, and all kinds of food. Also, just because there's one kiss at the end of the movie, there'd be like 15 people there, like for HR and intimacy coaches and all these useless positions that don't even, it's just bloat. There's so much bloat.
Yep.
You'd have
ton of bloat.
you'd have the special effects section of the credits. It's like when you watch those Avengers movies, the special effects charge on it looks like the Vietnam Memorial with all the names. You're just like, what is this? It's like, how many people are involved in this movie?
It's funny because I remember you mentioned like the MCU, and I remember the first time when I saw Iron Man. I was at the first showing that it was because that was when midnight showings was still a thing. So I went to the midnight showings, and no one knew that there was a post-credit scene. There was nobody told you. There was no website dedicated to it yet. And me and the friends that I went with were just talking about the movie, and the credits were short enough where we stayed by accident for the post-credit scene because the credits were 10 minutes. Now an MCU movie is like, now an MCU movie, it's like 20 minutes of credits because they've doubled the rosters and they show all this stuff. And it seems like that's why they invented the mid-credit scene, because people got sick of waiting for the full thing.
Assistant to Mr. Rudd, driver to Mr. Rudd, hairstylist for Mr. Rudd.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is,
Mr. Rudd. It was every actor.
We sat there for 5 to 10, so let's say 7 or 8 minutes and talked, and that was a normal amount of time to talk. And we happened to catch this scene. And I remember I was in college at the time, community college, because I hadn't gone to like a full university yet. I started at a community college. And I went to my there the next day, and I knew a lot of people who were going to see it. I was like, "Don't leave," and they were like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Just stay after the credits." And they were like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
You're gonna see a black guy with an eye patch, and it's gonna blow your mind.
Yeah, and now it's like like Boosh just said, it's a half hour worth of credits that you sit through, and it's because the rosters have bloated that much.
Dude, watching
and we're not knocking those people that were involved in the productions, because I'm sure they got paid handsomely and they deserve to have their name listed there. But
they should. They
probably,
a lot of them probably did do something worth mentioning,
right?
But
this is why you have $300 million movies, though.
A fraction of the running time is dedicated to overlong credits.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that was Tremors, ladies and gentlemen. Do you guys have anything that you want to add that we hadn't mentioned? Or
I love how I mean, they reveal it in the sequels that they're Precambrian life forms, but I love how this movie standalone, you don't even find out what they are. Doesn't matter, they're just big sandworms. Like, deal with it. I love that.
Yep.
Did you guys get your Arrow limited editions in time for Tremors 1?
Nah, I didn't even realize they had that.
Oh man, dude, you missed out. I got mine, and I got my limited edition of Tremors 2 from Arrow.
I got my VHS copy. It still works. I don't need it. Yeah.
Let me see. Tremors limited edition. Let me see what it looks
like. I
like.
wasn't even in testicles when Tremors was was out.
Oh, it's pretty cool. It's got this awesome box art, and if you're familiar.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. That reminds me of. Hold on, I'll keep going.
If you're familiar with Arrow, they put on these really awesome limited edition releases for their catalog of movies, mainly horror and science fiction. And I'm in line to get my limited edition copy of Deep Blue Sea that's going to come out this week.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty neat, dude. It's pretty neat too, because they put a lot more extras than the ones that were initially released, and you get like hard copy stuff, like a poster, some postcard shots of the movie. A booklet of essays.
The box kind of reminds me of, this is my special edition that I got of Starship Troopers. It has a very similar kind of art style. If you go look up, it has it looks very similar to this. So I wouldn't be shocked if they called in the same art people.
Yeah, they got some good artists working on those cover arts.
Let me see if I could find it.
I got like a couple of copies of. I got my own set of limited editions of Tremors 2, The Last House on the Left, the original movie.
Ooh, nice.
And RoboCop.
Yeah, this one's is a pretty good. This one doesn't have the thing in the middle. I'll pull it up as a. No, it's doing that web BP fucking file bullshit. Let me see if I can find a different one.
I missed out on a couple of releases. Like, they had one for Wild Things on the topic of Kevin Bacon, and I was already too late to get my own copy of American Werewolf.
This one's right off of Amazon, so this should be.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it's the
Hey,
right
Mako.
style.
Guess my favorite movie, Mako.
Wild Things.
No.
No.
Look at my screen, and it'll be a hint.
Hey, I know who that is.
Yeah. Love it.
Thank you for your cooperation, sir.
It doesn't. It's not letting me pull up the whole. I'll just make it so I can share it. Hold on.
Thank you for your cooperation. Was from RoboCop 2. No, I'm just kidding.
Thank you for your cooperation.
I thought you
No,
said
it's part one.
well, he
It's
says
part
it in
one.
the
It's in
first
part one.
movie. I'm
It's in
sure he
part one
does.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
Let's see if I can make this. Okay, it's not going to be the best quality because I had to zoom in on it. So let's. But
RoboCop is not just okay, Amelia. RoboCop is fucking amazing.
I suggest you watch it a few more times and have a penis.
Yeah, let
and
that
balls,
sink in.
and you'll understand why it's a good movie.
We're not trying to TLJ you on this. That's a great
man's movie.
Yeah,
nothing more badass than avenging your own literal death.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it is, as I said, like where I just put it here. Yeah, you can kind of see how it's got like a similar style of art to the cover. It's not. That's the best I could get because I had to zoom in. If I zoom out a little bit, it makes it look slightly better because it's not stretching it. But
yeah, but the image does not lie. That's what it comes with.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm so glad I got my copy.
But yeah, physical media is always great. But yeah, Dark Hour, I guess. Time to plug your shit, ladies and gentlemen. Let the people know what you're doing, what you've done, and what you're going to do. Of course,
you're gonna have to make a pre-recorded version of that because it always goes to you always have to unmute yourself. So we're gonna have to do a pre-recorded version.
Don't worry, I don't mind. I don't mind unmuting myself every time. It's all right. But yeah, I guess Madcap, you go first, man. Let the people know where they can find you, what you're doing, what you're working on, if you're working on anything.
Well, I appreciate that. So while I have the floor, I unfortunately do not have any projects going on because life is pretty hectic. Not just adulting, but I am involved in training under pro wrestling right now. So
nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So it's a pretty rough sport. I gotta tell you that. And it definitely takes a lot of my time, my body, and my soul. But hey, in my brightest days, I can always enjoy the day, but in terms of my channel, I mean, what can I say? I guess my best video I could probably say for you guys, if you want to check it out, anybody on the chat, will be my rant on Amber on Invincible.
Nice.
But in terms of future content, I'm not sure when I'll exactly be on board, but
it's okay. 2025, we'll get you back on in the near future.
2025 is going to be a good year to look back on films, either 10 years old, 20 years old, 30 years old, or 40 years old looking back. I might plan a video on Return to Living Dead and Reanimator all in one bundle. Could be something. Well, those are two films that I'm definitely considering working on. But in the meantime, I could probably do some gaming streams if possible. But life's pretty hectic. That's all I can say.
Oh yeah,
Who knows
dude,
when I'll be back?
I totally understand you, man. I'm in the same boat. I'm in the exact same boat as you, so I totally get you, man.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like, I don't really have much desire to watch a lot of modern stuff, though I am trying to get in. I'm trying to wedge myself in. I had like a Batman binge over this past week. I've been watching all the Batman films. Here's another thing. I might even think about doing like a Dark Knight Rises video because that movie is not very good. It's been said. That's been said. Yeah.
I remember saying it when it came out, and people were like, "You're just being stupid." I was like, "No, this isn't a good movie," and that was long before I started doing any of this stuff. I was like, "No, this is a shit fucking film. I don't know what the hell you guys were watching."
Well, I was on the same boat because initially I thought like, "Oh my god, this is the fucking greatest ending to a trilogy," and then I think about it with everything that's been said with a lot of films that come out recently. Like, yeah, this is not very good either. It's a very bad movie.
No, once you actually look at it objectively and take out your emotions from it, you're like, none of this makes any sense.
No,
actually, the ending to The Dark Knight doesn't really make much sense either, but that's a whole nother conversation for another day. So
I think it doesn't make sense in retrospect when you connect it to Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises. Like,
It
seems
doesn't
like,
make sense. I'll just tell you right now. There was absolutely no reason for Batman at the end to be like, I killed those people, because there was literally maniacs running around all of the city. It would have been the easiest thing to bury ever. They'd be like, oh, we don't know how these people died. It's the easiest cover up in the history of cover ups. And they blame Batman instead for no reason.
I could probably see your point there, but I mean, it's pretty much the honorable thing that Batman is doing is just like protecting.
Yes, but he could say that all he wants. It didn't mean that Jim Gordon had to do it.
But it was definitely leading on to a very grimmer and more cerebral movie, which Dark Knight Rises unfortunately was not. It did not live up to that.
But yeah, man. But dude, thanks for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure. We'll probably have you on soon for sure. Well, maybe not soon, but I know that we'll have you on again for sure. Dude.
Oh no, everybody always comes back. I sometimes it takes me a little while to get them back in, but I do get them back.
Yeah, it depends. It depends on what movie you guys are going to be talking about. But
yeah, of course,
I could have an open mind. But if it's something that if it's something I'm very passionate about that I've already seen, then yeah, I'm definitely on board.
Hi,
just saying, you mentioned a couple that might be already on the list that I might need some people for, so I'll just keep those in mind.
Yeah,
thank you.
All right. What about you, Enzo? Apart from the cold.
Yeah, as you guys know, I got like over almost like 150 funny movie commentaries on my channel. Some of them are abridged, like the EFAT movies. Some of them are full-length movies, so check those out. But also this weekend, I think I might do a Stupenzo cast today instead of my typical Sunday at midnight after the Gooch show. I might do something relatively soon in like an hour or so. We'll do a Stupenzo cast. And then tomorrow, we're going to do Dorkside at noon instead of midnight. We're going to do a MLK inauguration special. Hopefully, President Trump will be president without a hitch. Hopefully, there won't be some disaster that we have to cover. Hopefully, it'll be all, funny videos and goofing off and playing games. And then probably do that from like noon to 6 p.m., like 6 hours. And then I'm going to go on Leon's show after that for Countercast. So that'll be fun. And I'm excited about this week. And fun stuff ahead. So also I might ditch StreamYard soon this week. And also I guess I'm going to officially apply for monetization since I've been eligible for that for a while, but I just know they're going to come back with some reuse content nonsense. Probably. We'll see.
You're going to go through some you could probably prove against it, but you're gonna have to like word it properly.
I'll do it. I'll be like, look, man, Disney and Universal and some of these companies have all agreed that a lot of my videos are in fact fair use. So suck it.
Dude, thanks for coming on, man. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Dark Hour, what about you, man?
I don't really have any specific videos. Nothing lately has made me want to make a video. I've just kind of the same thing kind of happened last year in January. It's just a shitty month, so I just kind of use it as a recharge month. Probably won't do an actual formal review until February when Captain America comes out, and I'm considering doing something for Cobra Kai, but I'm not sure how I want to do it because I would like to go back and talk about some of the older episodes and stuff. So I might do that as a retrospective video that doesn't require that it comes out at the same time as the finale. I'm just trying to think of how to do that because I wasn't doing this stuff when the show came out. In fact, I didn't even watch the show for the first 2 seasons because I didn't have YouTube Red. So, but I've rewatched the whole show recently, and there's a lot of crazy ups and downs throughout that show's history. So maybe I'll figure out a way to talk about them in a retrospective way. But then obviously we have 2 hosts coming up next week. Drinker's going to be on next week for 6th Day. Then, obviously other stuff going after that. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sort of in the boat with Madcap. It's just life stuff happened. I won't really get into, but yeah, man, I'm happy to be here among everyone. So yeah, that's pretty cool. That's dope. And apart from that, I'm still working on the Monster House video. I've actually been editing all night, so that's pretty cool. I've got some really, really good progress on it. But yeah, just working on some new stuff. I've got one video planned for February. I think Snow White is in March, is it not? If I remember
Yeah, I
correctly.
think so. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's like toward the end of March, I believe.
I'll be covering Snow White in March, but I won't be covering the Rachel Zegler version. You guys will see which version I'm going to be covering when that video comes out. But it'll be coming out the same day as the Rachel Zegler version. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy that video. And in the meantime, I've got Monster House and of course 2 hosts with Dark Hour. And yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Just happy to be here, honestly.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I just want to thank the audience. Obviously, this is our new time slot. I wasn't expecting a huge turnout for this one. This is actually a pretty decent turnout considering we switched time slots. Over the course of the next few weeks, people will start to realize that we're at this time slot. From time to time, we'll still do the other ones, the Saturday night and the Sunday early AM one. But this will be our mainstay for the most part going forward. As to I was having trouble with certain guests in terms of booking them with EFAP, so we're just kind of working together alongside a couple other smaller streams to sort of form a content block for the day for you on Sundays. And other than that, though, I want to thank my 2 guests and obviously Cynic who had to go earlier. It's good to be back for another year of this show, and hopefully, it just keeps growing.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. Massive thank you to everyone in the chat. It's been great. And of course, yeah, man. Just want to say thank you to everyone. It's a genuine pleasure. As I say always, to see that you guys are here watching with us from beginning to end, even if some of you are coming in or on the re-upload. Hey everyone watching the re-uploads or the restreams.
This one will probably be restreamed.
Guys.
If people have noticed, I've done restreams. I'm almost done. I have 8 left, 9 if you include this. I should have them done by the end of the week. If I do 2 a day, I should be fine.
Yeah. So just want to say, really appreciate you guys. It genuinely means so much to me that you guys spend your time with us. Like to me, time is one of the most precious things that people have, and the fact that you guys spend it with us just always warms my heart every single time we do this show. So yep. And I guess on that note, we can end the show. Dark Hour. Normally, let me just confirm if the outro clip is there. All right. Normally the clip is on the outro. Well, bye everyone.
Bye.
Hey, take it easy, man.